what a freezing 24 hours it has been in Colorado to the point that they had to cancel a game. And it looked like today it was going to cancel. But shout out to the grounds crew for doing all of that work to clean up all of that snow. And now we have Major League Baseball. And good evening, everyone. This is Rooftop Sports, as this is now my 16th, no, my 15th game out of 20. Hold on. Out of 20 so far. So I'm still at an 80% attendance rate. And Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm well, man. I'm doing incredibly well. And yeah, shout out to those groundskeepers. This morning I was perusing the Denver forecast, and it looked like that there was going to be cloudy skies, but it looked like, they were going to be able to get it in come game time. And I know that there was maybe some light snow in the forecast, but I had a feeling as the day was going along that we were going to see some baseball tonight, and it's awesome that we are. The Mariners are coming off a 3-game sweep of a very good road team in the Cincinnati Reds. Got a they got some nice momentum coming into this one. They had the off day for travel. They had the other day off for inclement weather, and now all of a sudden it's go time against the Colorado Rockies team. That's just really all not, and I hate to say it, but they're just not that good. Got off to a slow start. They've been scuffling, and it's a really perfect time for the Mariners to play a little add-on to what they did against the Reds. So I'm really looking forward to this game tonight to see the Mariners break out, score some early runs, and give Luis Castillo a nice little cushion.
Well, I heard that for Luis Castillo, he does tend to struggle in the cold weather. So that's something to pay attention to. And this series is going to be very opportunistic because they are playing a not so good team, the Colorado Rockies. So that would be a good opportunity to scoop up those wins before they head over to their division rival, the Texas Rangers, who are also off to a struggling start. But when it comes to a divisional game, that's where you really got to be at the top of the game. And regardless, they should be at the top of the game today and the rest of the series because, nothing's more embarrassing than losing to a team that doesn't really have even a 500 aspirations.
Right. My biggest concern tonight, especially with Castillo, is his need to throw the high fastball. It's even in perfect conditions in Colorado, fly balls just tend to carry a little bit farther than normally when you're at sea level. And obviously now we're in inclement weather. It's going to be cold outside, so what I'm looking for is to see if Castillo has got a feel for his pitches tonight, because obviously cold weather equals cold hands. If he can keep baseball, keep the baseball on the ground, let his defense do his job. I think this is gonna be a walk in the park tonight for Castillo.
Yeah, let's hope so, that it would be a nice walk in the park. And now we're looking at the offense of the Mariners. Here is the starting lineup. Leadoff, as usual, J.P. Crawford. And I've heard some people say that he should be taking off the leadoff spot, but I disagree. He's gotten good, at least at bats. He just needs to somehow get the ball not in a man's glove, even with that exit velocity that tends to be a bit high for the most part. He is batting 171, and if he didn't hit those 2 home runs, those numbers would look a little bit worse than it is right now. Second is going to be Julio, who has been picking it up. He really did step up in the Cincinnati series. He did strike out, yes, but at least there were times where when he had the opportunities, he just slapped the ball and not just try to kill the ball like he always does. Number 3, we got Jorge Polanco, who hit the home run earlier. Mitch Haniger's been easily the best player on the Mariners, and nobody would have thought that going into the opening day. Everyone thought, maybe we all thought he was going to be a platoon guy, but now he's our regular right fielder, batting 292. Then we got Cal Raleigh, who threw out a guy. Then Ty France, who has dipped quite a bit. He's now a 278 hitter, which is why he's now 7th in the order, which he should have been the entire time, in my opinion. Mitch Garver, who at least hit a home run, and when he did hit that home run, that was a huge sign of relief. Jonathan Clase, batting 182, but he did make those big hits against Cincinnati. And then Josh Rojas, the other best player on the Mariners, batting 343. And Steve, which one do you think will break out in this series?
I actually am going to go with I'm going to throw out a couple names at you, and I do believe that J.P. Crawford has the potential. In the second game of the Cincinnati, he only played in 2 games in the Cincinnati series. The second game, he had a multi-hit game. and it looked like that it looked like he squared him up quite nice. I'm also going to roll with Josh Rojas. I think this is going to be a tailor-made game for him. When you look at what the Rockies are throwing tonight, and Dakota Hudson, he's a sinker ball pitcher, throws it 38% of the time. He also throws a slider. And the thing about the reason why I feel so strongly about this is because it is cold weather. And it's going to be interesting to see which pitcher is going to have a feel for his pitches, because obviously cold hands means you're going to leave pitches up and out of the plate. I think the Mariners have a better lineup to do more damage, and I think we'll find out literally right from go what JP Crawford is going to be able to do. As far as Rojas goes, being at the bottom of the order, he's been able to do some nice things and keep that line moving. And we can talk about Julio, and we can talk about Haniger and some of these other guys, and of course of late they've been doing a great job. But it's these table setters at the top and at the bottom of the lineup that have to keep this line moving. And I have a feeling that tonight we'll see it.
Let's also hope. And one prediction I will say, maybe Julio Rodriguez, maybe he hits a home run, because he is playing in a stadium where the ball does carry. So we're not telling him to hit a home run, but we just think it may happen in this series.
And we saw it in the last game of the Cincinnati series, where Julio had a couple doubles, and they weren't cheap doubles. They were fully extended, and he got the ball right there on the sweet spot of the bat, and actually missed his home run literally by a couple feet in the first double. So it was nice seeing Julio get extended and be able to hear that sound off the bat for the first time this season. So yes, but I'll just put it this way: if Julio goes deep, I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's hope so and find out. And then let's take a look at the injury report. So it looks like we've got Cody Bolton. He's on a 15. Colin Snyder's on a 15. Then we got Brian Wu, who is actually ETA is April 25th. So I would wonder what they're going to do with Emerson Hancock. It may be heavily dependent on how he does on his next start. Maybe he doesn't even get one due to how close Brian Wu is. Dominic Canzone is now a May 1st, and Brash is May 3rd.
Well, there was this rumor on Twitter, and I believe it was Mariner Muse that put this out, that Casey Lawrence was scratched from his last start in Tacoma, and of course the Rangers went with a bullpen start, and the reasoning was that they were going to use Casey Lawrence at some point in the doubleheader, although no corresponding move has been made. I have not heard if he's been called up yet. But Emerson Hancock slated to pitch the second game of that day-night doubleheader. So as of right now, it's Emerson Hancock on Sunday, tomorrow. But I do believe that regardless, Emerson's going to have to replicate his last start in order just to be in the conversation. But I have a sneaking suspicion that it's going to end up being Emerson's going to go back down to Tacoma when Woo's ready to come off the DL, and then also correspondingly, depending on the ETA for Cody Bolton versus Matt Brash. Once Matt Brash comes back, I would probably have a feeling that you're going to see Bolton go down first, or Snyder going down first, and then once Santos is back, then both of those guys will be back down in Tacoma as well too.
And it will be not too long until we see one of the most, possibly could be the top 3 bullpen in baseball, if not the best, because with the bullpen they have now, they are still a top 10, and this is without Brash and Santos. And it looks like we are getting close to the game. They are just showing the introduction, the way Root Sport does it, but their introduction will never match what the Mariners did in the 90s, or that old Fox logo thing that I use in this show. And now they're showing downtown Denver, Colorado.
It looks like
stadium.
It looks like the Rockies are wearing their Gross City Connect uniforms today.
They are. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of those City Connects.
I'm not a fan of the City Connects of anything in general, to be honest. I think the worst one's Texas or Philadelphia.
No. The worst is San Francisco. Those are pretty terrible. The Padres are pretty cool. I like the White Sox City Connects. Those ones are pretty slick.
The
Yeah,
White Sox,
those are slick. Yeah, those are pretty slick.
And it looks like we've got look at Julio Rodriguez. He's got that mask on right now. He's got that huge ski
Yeah,
mask
it's
on,
like,
and now
isn't it
looks like
like,
we got JP Crawford. And the first pitch is going to be brought to you by SeatGeek. Use that promo code Rooftop Sports to get $20 off your next purchase, especially if you plan to see Eugenio Suarez next Friday. And JP takes it for a ball. He's also wearing that huge ski mask. Here's
yeah,
the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. 2-0. Is already working a good count on himself.
yep. And in right away, you're looking at Dakota Hudson trying to hit the outer corner with that sinker ball, and he's not able to. So,
And that it gets in there for a strike. And I actually did add Hudson to my fantasy team just in case the Mariners offense downplays Dakota Hudson and the Colorado Rockies. I think it's a safe
that's
bet.
that's actually a pretty solid move because the Mariners have been known to play down to their competition.
They always do. Just like we can relate the Patrick Ewing, Gary Payton Sonics always play down in their competition, unless it was the Lakers and they went 4-0. And now we're looking at a 3-1.
Did you just call out
3-1 pitch.
The Patrick Ewing Sonics?
Yes, I did. That team always played down. But when it was like Lakers or like good teams, they handled them well.
Yeah, but by the time Ewing became a Sonic, he was barely able to run up and down the floor.
Oh my god! I looked at the highlights. And I'm like, ugh.
And I think he was like 30 pounds, and he was like 30 pounds overweight.
Lockout and injuries. 3-2. Now here's a ground ball, and that will go right to the shortstop to throw to first, and it's in time. We got one down.
Yep, up the middle. They were, they were kind of playing them a little to the first base side, and yep,
they were ready for it.
Yeah, they sure were.
Now here is Julio Rodriguez up to the plate, and Julio, he did play a little bit better in Cincinnati. Hopefully he can keep that momentum going against the Colorado Rockies, which would be very critical.
God, this is the Rockies. The Rockies. I'm looking at their defensive linemen right now, and good Lord.
2 doubles Wednesday versus the Reds, something that we brought up earlier this show. Hudson has 7 pitches. Now here is the 1-0. And now here's a fly ball to right field, and it is fouled. And we'll try this again.
Yep.
Julio looking at the 1-1 count.
Trying to get out in front of a sinker right there. Fouled it away.
He did. 1-1. Still is a good count on him.
They got the hand warmers. They got the the face mask. Try to
they have everything. Themselves.
Oh yeah, it's like 20 degrees outside.
2-1 to count. That was up and in.
Yeah.
All the fans are dressed up in warm clothes as much as they can. And now we're looking at the 2-1 pitch. Now here's a fly ball to nowhere. Right to the center fielder.
Yeah.
It looked good.
That was actually a really good pitch. He got one up and just missed it. Looked like he got a full extension and just got right under it. So it looks like Julio is picking up from where he left off. Just got under it.
And we're not going to see much fastballs from Hudson either. 33% and 37% are sinkers and sliders. You only see 14% on fastballs. So the Mariners are going to have to be very patient in this game to be successful. The pitch and a swing and a miss. And that one was a fastball, but he just happened to miss on the outside corner. We're looking at an 0-1 count.
And that's the in the series against the Cubs and the Reds, the Mariners fared well against the cutter and the sinker. Not so much against the slider, but still.
Career at Coors Field, 1 of 3, and that was in last season. So it didn't really do much. That was the second career game at Coors Field. Here's the 1-1 and another swing and a miss.
It's got to be
1-2.
I can't say that I've ever played in cold in weather of this cold, but you think that it's going to play an effect because the thing about these guys is they like to try to keep loose, try to keep warm, and good lord, it's
Now
cold.
they're freezing.
Yeah, for sure.
We're looking at a 2-2, and you can see all the breathing.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
The 2-2 pitch, and that is inside for a ball 3. That's a full count. Mariners have scored 17 runs last series against the Reds, most in any series this season. Oh, really? I didn't know that. We're looking at a 3-2. Now here's the pitch, and that is fouled back. Good to see Polanco still fighting it off. 182 batting average. He's really got to get that up. He has been just a little bit, maybe more of a stagnant thing, but Polanco would like to get that going. It's going to be tough to do it in this game due to that cold weather.
Right now it's 32 degrees in Denver, but tomorrow for the doubleheader, it's going to be overcast. Maybe a slight chance of rain, but it'll be 64 degrees, a lot more comfortable.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
3-2.
30 degrees more comfortable.
And that is ball 4, and Polanco draws the walk. Something that he actually did do in the previous series was he actually did draw the walks, and that's what he has done.
Tried to get the corner right there, and they couldn't frame it right. Ball 4.
I wonder how many of these guys are going to catch a cold or some kind of allergy and fever, because when the weather goes from 20 to 60 in just a snap, kind of messes with the immune system. And now here's Mitch Haniger.
And of course, they're at high elevation, so that also is going to play a factor into it too. Good point.
We're looking at the 1-0 count. Mitch has an 8-game hitting streak. He has 2 home runs during that hitting streak. He would like to keep that going, and I would too. And now we're looking at the 1-0. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. It was got caught on that breaking stuff that Hudson is imposing. And he should be doing that, as he should, because Mariners all play like Pedro Serrano in the offense.
It looked like it was a slider there that started out over the plate and broke down and away. Good pitch by Hudson
1-1.
right there.
And another swing and a miss, and that is strike 2. Mitch Haniger's having a difficult time getting the barrel on the ball.
Yeah. And of course Hudson goes slider after ball 1, and so now he's in a 1-2 hole, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got a third straight slider here.
And we're looking at a 1-2. Hudson's still taking his time. Feels like the clock should be expired by now. 20 pitches in for Hudson, so at least the Mariners are making him work.
A little bit, yeah. The other
here's
thing,
the 1-2, and it's low for ball 2.
The other thing I'm worried about with this cold weather is for guys like Mitch who do have a little bit of an injury history with this type of cold weather. Diving things in the field that
takes a bad step. I think Canseco had that situation before when they played in the cold weather. Here's the 2-2, and that is fouled.
Good old Jose.
Heard he blew out his knees in result.
I'm a huge Jose guy, so I actually don't know about that. But it wouldn't surprise me.
Boston.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me if that happened.
Because back in the old days, like, oh, it's cold weather, y'all still playing. Back in my days,
for sure.
And now we're looking at 2-2. And here's a ground ball right to the shortstop. Easy play to throw to first, and it's in time, and that's going to retire the side. Mariners get only 1 walk, but they don't even get a run or anything moving. We go to bottom of the first. Word from our sponsor. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code ROOFTOPSPORTS to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Yep, use that promo code Rooftop Sports for your $20 off if you plan to go to a game tomorrow, or game in Texas, or a game in against Arizona, or if you plan to go to a concert. I don't care. NBA playoffs. I don't know. Use it.
Just get off your wallet. Use it. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy, because some of you are. And now, any thoughts on that first inning?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about you, but it definitely looked like they were a little bit uncomfortable up there at the plate. And of course, it's they'll probably never play in 30-degree weather the rest of this year, but it looked like they're trying to do their best. They're trying to do their best in an otherwise unpleasant situation. So it's going to be interesting to see if this Mariners team can get warm, get on a roll, because
Oh,
again,
they can still bunt. I thought I'd just
yeah,
remind them that they can still bunt. They don't have to just try to hit home runs, and they shouldn't be relying on the home runs. And now we are looking at the 1 through 9, and boy, do I not even recognize any of these guys, except maybe Blackman, but that's about it.
Charlie Blackman, Ryan McMahon, yeah, there's a couple names in there.
There was Chris Bryant, but then
Yeah.
he suffered an injury.
Yep, typical.
And that's who the Mariners nearly signed. And boy, good thing they did. And here's the pitch. And that is a strike. And that's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball by Castillo. So I wonder if the cold weather is also going to play into the
Yeah,
possible lack of velocity.
very
Now
well,
here's
very
the
well.
0-1. And that's a foul ball for Blackman.
And
And that one topped out to a 96. So I stand corrected for
sure.
that moment.
Well, it's gonna be with this cold weather. The last thing you really want to do is go 100% on every single pitch, because the last thing you want to do is come down with an arm injury.
Yeah, that's where, and maybe that's could be a possibility where we may see a massive, like a pitch management count by Scott Service. Here's the 0-2, and that is a ball. So that's something to think about as well.
Yep. Yep. That's that for me is the biggest thing in the back of my mind when it comes to cold weather, is just injuries, ticky tack injuries that may sideline a guy for a couple weeks.
That's why they don't play baseball in the winter. We're
That
looking at
is
a
true.
1-2. Career OPS against the Mariners, he is a 984 against. That's Charlie Blackman. Here's the 1-2, and that is fouled, and he is fighting it off on a 1-2 count.
Yeah, the Charlie, I would be curious to see Blackman's numbers versus the Mariners, because I do recall a few times where they came to T-Mobile Park and Blackman did some damage.
And Blackman continues to foul, and that's a 1-2. Wonder if this could lead to something. Blackman batting 254. Castillo at 7 pitches already for this batter. Here's the 1-2. And that is outside for a ball. I think he tried to throw him off and tried to get him to swing at that. And now we're looking
Yep.
at a 2-2.
Yeah, that's the changeup blowing away. Try to get him fishing a little bit.
And we're looking at a 2-2. And here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Good mixture of pitches by Castillo. And now we've got one down.
Good pitch. Very good pitch. Low and
It
inside.
was well thought out.
And it looked like it was the changeup right there. Low and right on the inside portion of the plate. Good pitch.
Now here is Tovar. Here's the pitch. And here's a fly ball to right field. And Haniger is there. And that'll make the catch. That's as efficient as it gets in 2 outs.
Yeah. One pitch. One pitch. 2 away.
Mariners pitching in the last 7 games, a 1.83 ERA, 68 strikeouts, and 11 walks.
Yeah.
It's in 64 innings. Very efficient.
Yeah, that's what we like to call a good ratio.
Very good ratio. And now here is the pitch. And that is a strike. That's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Ryan McMahon, 2 home runs, probably their best hitter on this team. And they're looking at Castillo. He's got 4 stuff. He's got the fastball, the slider, sinker, and changeup. And another swing and a miss, strike 2. Castillo's looking good so far. But hey, we always say that in the first 3 innings. And in the 4th inning, oops, a home run. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time. McMahon is 1 for 8. And he was a part of that near perfect game that Castillo had on the Rockies last year. And I do remember that. I think he was pitching a perfect game into the 7th inning. And then because after he gave up that hit, Paul Sewald closed that game. That game was won 1-0 with a Jared Kelnick single. Looking at the 0-2.
Solid.
Now here's the 0-2, and that is fouled again. That's going to be still 0-2. McMahon has 8 multi-hit games this season. That seems to be the only high point of the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, it's a relatively young team, and they're going through some growing pains, man.
And that's 2 strikeouts in this inning, and La Piedra gets that strikeout. Where's that fist? I guess it's too cold to do the fist. We go to the top of the second, no score.
Yeah, they're going through some growing pains right now, and it must be tough being a Rockies fan, but that's what happens when you rebuild.
Hey, at least there's a couple good things happening for you, Denver. You've got the Denver Nuggets, who won a championship last year and in the playoffs. And at least Russell Wilson's off the team. Off the Broncos. But not that contract. And boy, I saw Russell Wilson's house in Denver. I was like, yeesh. Yeah,
nice or not good. Nice?
Not good. I was not impressed. And he sold that house, and he sold it at a loss, which obviously is not surprising.
Sure. But, hey, that was that's the thing. It's like I'll say this, man. He didn't really think it through when he decided to go to Denver. At the time, it was Nathaniel Hackett was the head coach, a first-time head coach, and he needed somebody. He needed a good veteran coach that was going to basically keep him in his place and get him to focus. But I heard that he ran roughshod over Hackett and didn't get along with Sean Payton because he tried to do the same thing, and Payton wasn't having it.
Now he's going to be with Mike Tomlin, and that's a guy that will really put you in your place if you're not careful. Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell will be the first ones to remind you that.
And I think that, and I really think that because of the experience that he had in Denver, if you're somebody that actually learns from your experiences, you're probably going to do yourself a favor and just be a team player in Pittsburgh, because this is probably your last opportunity to start football games.
Yeah, after that, you'll be lucky to get a backup job, and it will not be with the Seahawks, because I think the Seahawks want nothing. And speak of, I think, I'll say it in the next commercial break. It'll be about Mike McDonald. Here's the pitch. Now, here's a line drive to left field, and that is a home run. That is gone. I thought that was just a liner, but Cal Raleigh gets the Mariners on the board. An opposite field home run, and the Mariners have a 1-0 lead.
Good deal. Good deal. First pitch swinging goes Oppo, and of course the ball carries in Colorado. So, that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, that home run just went away fast.
Yep, an early home run. Get a little momentum now for the offense, and give Castillo a nice little early lead. And that was, by the way, that was a fastball, literally right down the middle of the pipe. He was a little late on it, but he was able to drive it out the other way.
I believe that should be Cal Raleigh's. How many home runs is that? I think that should be his third home run.
Third
home run of this season. Now here is Ty France. And that is inside for a ball. And let me say hello to my friends. We got Daniel. How's it going? We got Eric. And then we got the chef. That is Steph. They do have the Avalanche. Now here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit. And Ty France gets on base with a single.
Yep. Right up the box.
By Ty, yeah.
Yep. Solid little base hit. There you go. Maybe we can get Ty on a roll.
Let's get Ty going, which would be really nice.
Yeah, he was, they're showing that replay from Cal. It looked like he was just a little late on it, but still, he got it all.
Got it off in time. And now here is Mitch Garver up to the bat, and that is low for a ball. And Mitch Garver finally hit a home run when we were like, finally. Because it really needed to happen. It was long overdue, way overdue. Batting 160 with a homer.
Yeah, but for me, it's not about homers. I just wanted to see, I just want to see him barrel pitches up and put balls in play. It doesn't have to be dingers. It could be a double, it can be a single. I just want to see some consistency out of Garver.
That's how I feel about Julio. Sometimes I'm like, hey, if you take a walk, I won't mind. We're
That's exactly right.
we're looking at a 2-0. Now here's the pitch. And that is nearly a wild pitch. That kind of almost got away. And now it's a 3-0 count. And Mitch Garver, I'm saying hit that red light. Just take this one. Now, unless you
Yeah,
can think for a split second that it's way right in the middle, then yeah, go ahead and take the hack. But
well, it doesn't matter where the pitch is. Of course, he's going to be taking this pitch. The Mariners don't turn him away on 3-0.
They don't let it. They don't pass up. Here's the pitch, and that is ball 4. Take your base. I wonder if that was also a Billy Bean policy. Red light on third on 3-0.
Yeah. And that's the exact reason why, because you have a 50-50 shot at getting a walk, which means you got more traffic on the base. So I mean, unless Lou used to do that all the time. Lou would green light guys on 3-0 because more oftentimes than not you get one right down the middle.
Like was he a green light guy?
He was a green light guy. Lou
has to be, considering the offense he had.
Yeah, he's a green light guy.
And now here's Clase. Now here's the pitch, and here's the bunt, and that misses, and the throw to second, not in time. That nearly was a disaster. But I did like the attempt by Clase, the attempt to bunt. He just couldn't get on it. Missed the bunt completely.
And that's I wonder if that is a little bit of growing pains, because I mean, when the bunt is down, you got to put it down. And he
looked like that thing. I think if that made contact, I think he would have popped it.
He missed it completely. Good Lord.
And that is down low for a 1-1 count. Makes me remember. I remember when former Colorado and Seattle Jeff Cirillo did a bunt attempt in 2002. It was like, no, Jeff, just stop. Just don't swing at this point. And now we're looking at the 1-1. Now here's the 1-1. And that's going to be a strike. And I actually met Jeff Cirillo before. I tried very carefully to present the whole, I remember you from the Mariners, like in the nicest way possible. He still gave me that look.
Well, I'm sure I'm gonna say that Jeff Cirillo is probably a nice guy, but his time in Seattle was god awful.
That's why he doesn't want to remember it. Can't blame him.
Well, I believe I don't think he signed as a free agent. I think he got traded here.
It was a trade through Fuentes and Paniagua.
So he didn't have much of a choice.
And that is a 3-2 count. And Clase, considering that he had a missed bunt and a strike against him, he's on a 3-2 count right now. Mariners have been a lot more patient this time.
Very much so. When you look at Cirillo's Colorado numbers, you can tell everything was ballpark inflated.
It was. The guy hit 15 home runs with 100 RBIs. I think it was like 115 RBIs.
Yeah, it was. But see, that's the thing, is those type of things, when you see those type of drastic numbers where you don't see a lot of home runs, but you see a lot of RBI, it just lets you know that the guy has good contact skills, and contact should just translate, but it sure didn't in Seattle.
And now here's a fly ball, and is that going to go in the gap? Nope, that is going to be caught, and we've got one down. It looked like it was going to go in the gap just for a second, but nope. But it was good to see Clase with some contact on that one.
Yeah, it was short fly ball to center. But good piece of contact right there by Clase. That's kind of what you want to see out of him.
Now we're looking at Josh Rojas, who was up the plate.
Let's go, Roro.
And yeah, Eric is right. 38 pitches already on him. Yeah, that is not good for him, but good for us.
Right now, I would like to see a nice base hit for Josh Rojas.
Yeah, that's all we need. We don't need a home run.
You would like to see a 3-run shot. Of course you would.
Of course you would. But it's not something we're expecting at this time.
The name of the game is scoring runs, and that'll happen, man. Singles will score runs, man.
Now we're looking at the 1-0, and that is a strike. And around the scoreboard, we got the Texas Rangers losing to the Atlanta Braves. So right now, the Braves are our friend. How did they do yesterday? Braves destroyed them 8-3.
Yeah.
This
Texas
is a
will be
really good
fine.
chance.
Texas will be fine when they once they get
1-1.
Scherzer back.
And now here's a ground ball, little dribbler, the throw to second, and the no throw to first. You do move the runner to third base. That's Ty France, but 2 outs.
They'll get the guy at second. They'll get Garber at second. So, now it's a good opportunity with 2 outs for JP.
JP, this is your moment. 41 pitches for Hudson.
Oh, and he looked like an inside fastball, and Rojas broke his bat on that little check swing.
Oh, nice. JP 0 for 1 with a ground out in the first.
He must have got a wicked case of bat buzz.
And now here is Crawford's batting 169. Yeesh. He's got to get that up. And now here's the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. Julio Rodriguez is on deck. He will be up if Crawford can prolong this inning. Guardians beating Oakland as expected.
And, one of the things that plays into this is the fact that, Hudson can't find the strike zone right now.
Oh, no. And yeah, you're right. He's really not finding that strike zone. And that is a 2-0 count.
Yeah.
So you would think that Mariners are going to take full advantage of this. Like, they don't have to do anything cute. Just be very patient.
Yeah. And even if Crawford draws a walk, that still does work.
And it's a 3-0 count, and it might be another opportunity for Julio if Crawford can. There's no way he can strike out on this, you would think.
Yeah.
Also around the league, Astros have also lost.
I think I was going to say, I think that, I think it would be beneficial for Julio not to get cute here. Don't swing at the high fastballs. Don't top anything. Just take your walk.
And Crawford takes that for a strike, and that was up on the inside corner. And yep. I would have told nobody to swing at that, even if it is a strike.
Correct.
Unless it's 3-2, then duh.
I know that, and we have a time called as Diaz is going out to talk to his pitcher. But you were mentioning the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers, and both teams right now are suffering with injuries to their starting rotation. And Texas will get Scherzer back, and that's going to help them greatly. But eventually, they'll get Houston will get Lance McCullers back. They'll get Verlander back, and you would probably assume that whatever issues are going on with the rotation will steady out.
And that's why this is the perfect opportunity the Mariners to really pick up ground, which is why a good start really would have been beneficial to the Mariners. But at least they're not collapsing completely.
Well, what I'll say is once they get Santos and Brash back into their bullpen, and if they can continue to average 4 to 6 runs per game, by the end, like if they continue to trend up in the right direction, maybe the Mariners can, put together a nice little 5-game lead in the division before
3-1. Now here's a line drive caught by the shortstop, went right to him. It's good swinging. It's good at bats, but it just lands in a glove. Yep.
Not bad, but the Mariners still walk away with 1.
They do get 1, and after that, definitely need a breather.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We're proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
And use that promo code Modern Rooftop for your 20% off. And Eric, I'll answer this really quickly. All the arm injuries, well, when you got pitchers with their increased velocity and averages compared to the 90s, and fastballs going into weird spin motions, it really does put the wear and tear on that arm.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is right now the development for major league pitchers is to throw 100% of the time, all the time. So high velocity. Back in the day, pitchers who threw 91 to 94 routinely made it to the big leagues, and now you can't even get a sniff unless you're throwing 96 to 99. And these guys are throwing max effort every single pitch. When you combine that with the high spin rates of off-speed stuff, sliders. That puts a lot of torque on the elbow and the in the shoulder, but mostly there's not a lot of throwing between starts. So a lot of these guys are cold leading into starts, which also leads to it as well too. It's a lot of injuries, man.
It's a lot, and it's a real crapshoot thing. And here's the pitch.
Yeah.
And it seems that there hasn't been the perfect solution for it yet, and I do like that at least. The pitcher's got to at least somewhat keep the arms warm, at least in between starts, because you don't want to throw on a very cold arm.
Well, go back to the development of yesteryear, where you're not asking pitchers to throw 100% at every pitch. I mean, there was all pitchers had at least a 4-pitch repertoire back in the day. A lot of pitchers knew how to throw a lot of ground ball outs. And it's, pitch to contact.
1 and 2. Now here's a blooper, and that will be caught by Julio right there, and he makes the catch, and that is going to be 1 down. And I know I was going to talk about the Mike McDonald situation, which I will on the next commercial break. And now we got 1 down and only 19 pitches in for Castillo, and it's only the second inning.
Looking good.
Now here is Montero. He is batting 5th in the order.
Oh, by the way, guess who are first-time candidates for the 2025 National Baseball Hall of Fame? There's 2 Mariners on that list. Ichiro Suzuki and Felix Hernandez.
And here's a fly ball to left field. And Clase makes the catch. Kind of nearly mistimed it. I mean, we all know that Ichiro's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The only question is, will he be unanimous? Who knows?
Well, if Ken Griffey Jr. wasn't unanimous, because there's always going to be one writer that won't give him a vote. So probably not, but he will be a first ballot. The question is going to be Felix Hernandez. And
I think he'll take as long as Edgar.
I think that he is worthy of a Hall of Fame consideration, considering that he really was one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the American League for at least 5 years, if not 10. And he was one of the best pitchers on one of the worst dealing with
worst
some of the worst
everything.
Offenses I like known to man.
Look at his 2010 season. His record was 13-12, but he had like a 2.27 ERA.
Yeah.
So he literally carried that team. Like there was a time where I was like, "Hey Felix, if you go to a winner, if you leave for more money, I really wouldn't mind." I was like begging him to leave because I was like, it just wasn't worth it.
There was a stretch from 2010 to 2015 where, if Felix got a run, that was the litmus test for a Felix Hernandez start, whether or not he was going to get at least one run. It's the Burt Blyleven situation, right? Burt Blyleven made it to the Hall of Fame, and he made it even with a tremendous amount of losses, because he pitched a large portion of his career with the Angels, who were terrible. Like he was the best pitcher on one of the worst teams, and so there are examples of pitchers that don't necessarily have the wins, but they also have all the other stats that are Hall of Fame worthiness to make it in. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. I believe that Julio should at least get consideration.
Felix should get consideration.
Felix. I apologize.
And now I'm going to go into the Mike McDonald, which now has gotten the attention of Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor, where they felt insulted that Mike McDonald pulled out. He took away all of the pictures in the hallway at the VMAC of the Seahawks practice facility, like in the office space. And some fans are upset about it. Rich Eisen was like, "Why would you take away history? You'll see the Cowboys and the Packers or the whoever or Green Bay Packers doing something like that." And we're like, well, Mike McDonald just wants to create his own legacy. He's a He's a new head coach.
Yeah.
Situation. He doesn't. And he was part of 2013, so I don't blame him for doing it. He's not taking.
But
He's just taking away distractions.
From what I heard, that a lot of these pictures were an ode to Pete Carroll. A lot of these pictures had Pete Carroll in it, and it's bad enough that he has to live in Pete Carroll's shadow, and he will.
Oh, and that gets right through for a base hit. That could be an error.
No, it looks like it got through the hole. It looks like it got through the hole.
But yeah, it was like Pete Carroll has to we feel like we have to rely on 2013 to still give Pete Carroll these free passes.
That's exactly right. And so, I don't have a problem with Mike Mack doing that. He wants to wipe the slate clean, and he wants to do his own thing. So do it, right. Put new pictures up on the wall. What's wrong with that? Because I guarantee you that fans are going to remember it. You know what I mean? Like the fans remember 2013-14.
Yeah, so we just go on YouTube.
That's exactly right. So it is what it is, right? Like,
and we don't go to the practice facility. We don't have access to that building, so it's none of our
the other
business
thing is,
directly.
But how often does Richard Sherman or Cam Chancellor go to the VMAC these days? You know,
almost
what I
done.
mean?
And here is a fly ball to right field, and makes the catch. And is Julio tagging? Nope. But yeah, I hardly ever see Cam and Richard ever there.
That's exactly right. So why, is it because that these, especially Richard Sherman, is it because your ego is so inflated that you have to keep your mug on the wall? Just let the new coach be the new coach. Yeah, let him blaze his own trail.
And plus, he is a guy that came from the Harbaugh of Michigan's, and both Harbaughs. Yeah. So that's why I have high hopes for him. He seems like to be a high disciplined guy. And now here's the pitch, and that is a strike.
They should have
something Pete Carroll had his issues with was, yes, he made it a fun environment, but the accountability was subpar at best.
Well, at first it was a legit thing, but as soon as some of these guys became stars, as soon as some of these guys became paid, some of the rules became a little lax.
He really did. Mitch Haniger's working on an 0-1.
Especially for us.
Oh, yeah. And now here's the pitch. Runner goes, and the throw to second, and that is not in time. Nearly got away. And we've got Julio as a scoring position man.
Right.
Haniger now can try to slap him away home.
The problem with that last pitch was that was right down Broadway. Now imagine had Mitch would have been swinging on that pitch. Julio probably could have scored from first, because that was literally a meatball right down Broadway.
With that cold weather, maybe it plays the factor. Doesn't want to risk fouling or popping up. And now here's the 0-2, and that is low for a ball. 1-2.
But honestly, I could care less about the Seahawks. I mean, after last season, now you have a new head coach with roughly the same personnel. If there's Seahawk fans that are listening that think they're going to be a playoff team this upcoming year, well,
1-2, and that is up high for a ball. 2-2. Probably depends what they do in the draft, because they did nearly nothing in free agency.
Right.
So and a lot of questions is who their quarterback is going to be.
They
got Sam Howell. Yes,
Sam Howell from DC,
and a swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Haniger. Yeah, they got him from DC. Gino's still the starter. He did. At least he did negotiate to a more restructured his contract, at least, to create some cap.
I'll say this, that's going to be a good preseason battle between Howell and Gino, because I actually saw a few starts from Howell in DC, and he actually looked pretty sharp. It's going to be which quarterback is going to be able to
Now here's a line drive, and that is a base hit by Cal Raleigh.
There you go.
And here comes Julio Rodriguez, and no throw to the plate, and it's a 2-0 lead.
Boom, 2-0.
I gotta get used to that boom of yours.
Yep. Boom. So yeah, you try to call it without having any bias, but it's a Mariner broadcast. So what do you expect? There's going to be some bias.
Yeah, but at least we still try to stay as objective as possible.
Well, yeah, and with that right there again, it looked like it was a sinker that just didn't sink, and it got a good portion of the plate. Cal Raleigh getting the bat head right out in front and drives it right down the first base line. Good, solid base hit.
And Ty France takes it for a strike. He's trying to do something. He's batting sixth in the order, which I do think he belongs more of there. 6 or 7, I think, is his sweet spot. 2 and 3, nah, don't do that again. And we're
Yeah.
looking at an 0 and 1. Here's the pitch, and that is up high for a ball because I wouldn't want like JP and France or JP and Julio to be on first and second, and then hit into maybe even a triple play if I wanted to go that extreme. Wouldn't want to see that.
Well, yeah. I don't have a problem if Ty France was hitting second and Julio hitting third with Polanco hitting fourth. That might make a little sense, but if you're not going to have them in the top 4 of the lineup, then yeah, 6th, 7th. Yeah, that sounds about right for Ty.
Mm-hmm. We're looking at a 1 and 2 by Hudson going to be. He has 58 pitches. I don't even know if he's going to last any longer. Now here's the pitch. And that is low for a ball. 2 and 2.
And Ty got a nice base hit his first time up. And this is a situation where he's looking for something out over the plate that he can drive here. It almost seems like he's been on the cusp of
2-2 pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to not get through. And Ty France made it, and he's down. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh,
that's not good. Looks like he tripped, definitely. Although he's safe.
Rub a little dirt on it and get back out there, Ty. Come on. You're not a soccer player, bud.
I wonder if that's going to be challenged. That could be a challengeable call.
Well, let's see. That was a nice stop up the middle from his knees. Let's see. It looks like he may have beaten it. Did he step on the first baseman's foot?
Or maybe he got tripped up.
Ooh.
It looks like they are reviewing the call.
Yeah, and it looked like Ty may have stepped on home dude's foot at first base. Montero.
He's out.
Yeah.
That's going to be an easy overturn call.
Yeah, because I looked at the replay and from the angle from center field, it looked like maybe he tied, but from the angle behind, it looked like the ball. Yeah, he's out. He's out.
He's out by a mile. And yep, they did call him out. And I know Ty is in disbelief.
I wouldn't say that he's out by a mile. Like he's like by a half a step. The ball got into the back of the pocket of the glove as his foot was coming down on the bag. So I mean, you're talking by a couple inches right there. But that's why we have
reviews. Yeah. Like imagine what reviews could have done. Reviews would have gotten the Cardinals the 1985 World Series. Is there anything else that a review would have done? Oh, I think the review would have prevented the Yankees dynasty of 96 because of Jeffrey Mayer.
It would also given Andreas Galarraga his perfect game that Jim Joyce took away from him. So
it would have, and then Jim Joyce wouldn't have had to live through that guilt for the rest of his life. And now he's saying that, man, I wish I had that review.
Well, the game, I think it was game 6 against Baltimore in 96, where the kid reaches out.
Game 1.
Game 1. Okay, so he reaches out and he basically it's fan interference. So the call on the field should have been a double. That's back in those days, that would have been the call. Fan interference, runner automatically stands at second. But they gave Jeter the dinger. And you're absolutely right. Had instant replay been available back in the day, that probably I still don't think Baltimore would have won that series, but it
would have lasted like maybe a game or two longer.
Right, but it would have changed the complexity of that game. But I still think the Yankees were still going to beat Baltimore regardless.
Yeah, and that Yankees team was on.
By the way, who was the manager of the Orioles that year?
Davey Johnson.
You're absolutely right.
Davey Johnson, who tried to play mind games with A-Rod in September 1st of 96 when he got the umpire to take away his bat. And then I think and then A-Rod just grabbed another random bat and hit a home run still.
Yep.
And Griffey's just laughing.
A-Rod was so good. He his best years were 96 to 2000. Don't get me wrong, he
was easily his best year.
For sure, but I mean, like the come up years are always better than the years on top, although he had a couple of nice years in Texas too. I think I think
foul ball.
It was negated because he was playing in Texas on some really bad Rangers teams.
The Rangers team that decided to get rid of their starting rotation after 1999 got rid of Aaron Seeley. Kenny Rogers pretty much became nobody after that.
Well, whoa. Kenny Rogers Roasters ended up going to the World Series with Detroit in 06. He had a great year in 06.
And the year before, he took a swing at a cameraman.
Yeah, I always call him Kenny.
I wonder if he was
Rogers
just
Roasters.
in a really just bad mood, and that camera just really just set him off. I've had those
100%.
moments personally.
100%.
I know what it feels.
Because I believe that I think he got shelled in that game, and as he, I think he I can't remember the context, but somebody got into his face and he wasn't having it.
Here's the 1-0, and that is a ball. I think it was like before a game. And the cameraman just happened to be there, and then he just felt, for whatever reason, just felt like.
I thought it was after like he got shelled in the game.
No, it was before a practice. Here's the 2-0.
That could be. Fouled. Maybe he was just an asshole.
Asshole in a bad mood, because assholes are easy to trigger. All it takes is one little fuse.
You could say the same thing for Ichiro post Lou Piniella. I don't know about that.
Ichiro against Korea in the 06 World Baseball Classic. When Korea beat him, they prematurely put the flag on because they thought Japan was eliminated. But then that was before America lost to Mexico, and that's when they had the Griffey, A-Rod, Chipper Jones team that should have went all the way, but they didn't. Here is the 2-2 pitch.
That was before players started giving a crap about the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, when the USA was like they're just playing there having some fun, and that's right. And that's when you saw Griffey getting fat. Here's the 3-2. And that is a walk, and there goes the perfect game for Luis Castillo.
That was a good pitch too. That I don't know, like in normal circumstances that probably would have been called strike 3, but yeah, I think it was the last 2 cycles of the World Baseball Classic. Did you see that American players
started
actually
to care more?
Yeah, started caring more. The year that 2 cycles ago when Team USA won it all, that was a phenomenal World Baseball Classic.
Here's the pitch, and that is foul ball. I would say the greatest finals game, and I hate to say it, is when Japan defeated Korea in the 2009 WBC. I still think that is, objectively speaking, the greatest finals game in World Baseball Classic history. Here's the 0-1, and that is a swing and a miss.
I don't know, when Team USA won it, I don't know, that seemed rather big.
Just the drama behind it and how close the game was, and then Ichiro hit the game winner, which still hurts.
Maybe I'm a little biased, but
0-2.
I'm still, by the way, do you know who my favorite, you know who my favorite competing country is in the WBC?
Who?
The Netherlands. The Kingdom of the Netherlands. And do you know why?
Why?
What country territory is owned by the Netherlands?
Who?
The island of Curacao. So you have Jurickson Profar, Kenley Janssen, some of those really good players that at that time were at the top of their game in Major League Baseball.
Greg Hallman would have competed in that.
Yeah. So Craig Hallman. Yeah. Well,
now here's a line drive, and that should be a double play ball to throw to first, and that is safe. Not a line drive, but it was a ground ball ish.
I know that Hallman did compete in a World Baseball Classic with the Netherlands. I don't know if he was a part of the last 2 cycles, but
must have been 09.
They're routinely the European champions. I just love the Dutch. So I actively root for the Dutch in the World Cup, and along with Team USA. So, and it's awesome. It's awesome because you wouldn't think that the Dutch play baseball. They do. So
yeah, because they're more known for their soccer.
Yep, cycling,
Now,
soccer, yeah.
Here's
Swimming.
Blackman, and now here's a fly ball foul. A team that should be competing to the finals every time is Dominican Republic, and somehow they mess it up. Like last year, they had like no excuses. Like they had Julio Teoscar, they had like everyone.
Yeah. The Dominican Republic should be in the semifinals every cycle of the World Baseball Classic. Same with, you would think that maybe Venezuela might be good.
They're supposed to be. They're also a baseball country.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at the 0-1. Here's the pitch. And now here's fly ball foul. At least we're on strike 2. Say Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I was going to say I was just going to mention Puerto Rico because the age of the Puerto Rican player, the good Puerto Rican players, I don't think they're around anymore. Guys like Omar Vizquel, the Alomar brothers, Edgar, some of these really good Puerto Rican players that came down through the pipe are just not there.
Looks like Castillo's getting a little bit of work in this inning. At least there is no hits given up so far quite yet.
By the way, didn't Mexico have a good WBC this last time around?
Not sure. Here's the 1-2. Now here's a ground ball. This could be a little bit to make up there. Throw to first, and it's in time. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, a walk, man left on. We go to the bottom of the third. It is 2-0 Mariners.
The Mariners have a member of the Team Mexico in the WBC. Luis Urias.
He's from Mexico, is he?
Yes, he is. Team Mexico, yeah. Yep. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm a big WBC guy. I think it's actually very good for the sport of baseball that major leaguers are playing in this tournament, and it's nice to show off each country's best talent. This last go round, Japan was unbelievably stacked. Japan,
Otani, everything.
Yamamoto, the pitcher,
Kikuchi. I wonder if he was on that team.
No. The pitcher for the Dodgers, Yamamoto.
Yamamoto.
Yeah, Yamamoto. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yeah.
My best memory, unfortunately, was when 2009 Korea. I think they had the lead or they were tied, and then Ichiro is up, hits that nice little base hit, 2-run base hit or something, gives Japan the lead. Japan wins because I'm Korean, so that's why it hurts. Then the very next day at school, literally all the jock kids are like, they knew I was, and they very well know I'm Korean. They go, "Hey, did you see that Ichiro game winner?" And I was like, shut up.
Are you by the way,
they did it on purpose, of course.
Are you the type of guy that wakes up because WBC games, especially in pool play, there's some of those games start like at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I'm only in
some. Are you the type of guy that'll either stay up late or wake up early to watch Korea play?
Yeah, in some occasions, yeah. I did it for the Asian Cup, and I even did the 2 Seoul Series games, the Dodgers and the Padres. The Dodgers and Padres was exhausting. The first one I was okay. The second game was like, okay, can we just let it end, please? Because I was on monster drinks like 2 nights in a row.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, I will wake up early to watch either the Netherlands or the USA play.
Mitch Garver takes it for a 1-1.
Yep.
Batting 7th in the order.
This would be a nice, he got a leadoff walk. It'd be nice to see him square something up and drive it into the gap. That would be absolutely fantastic right here.
He had a nice exit velocity on that one, but that one's a foul ball.
Yeah.
Maybe he is due for some kind of a big hit. Mitch Garver's batting 160. He did walk his last at bat.
Yep.
And now here is the pitch. And the ground ball foul. Still good to see him. What the? Did you see that sign, that ad in the back? Umps are our neighbors too. Oh. That's a bit, much.
Unless your name is
Angel Hernandez.
Angel Hernandez. Yeah, I'm sorry,
That
our
is
neighbors
ball
too.
too. I'm sorry, our neighbors. Come on.
You know what's funny is I didn't even notice it until you actually said something. I was too hypnotized by Garver's weak swing on that foul ball.
2-2. And fouled again. At least he keeps fouling. Just like Richie in Benchwarmers. I ticked it.
He's got, you know, what's funny is how you mock Dom Canzone for when he swings and misses, he looks horrible, but he looks great when he makes contact. That's Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver,
It is.
he looks absolutely silly when he swings a bat and he like
2-2.
makes deep contact.
And it's low for 3-2. I mean, as much as Mitch Garver has been struggling, at least he's still patient. He's much more patient than he was when he started. And we're looking at a 3-2.
But even with the rough start, he's still finding a way to get on base, and that's important.
And he does get on base again, and that's now on second walk for Mitch Garver.
And the
even
crazy
if he walks
thing is,
all 4 times, I wouldn't mind.
And Hudson was ahead in the count 1-2 at one point, and lets him off the hook here. And
fantastic at that.
You have to wonder if there might be some shoulder issues going on with Hudson because they came out early in the game to look at him. So
here's the pitch to Clase, and that is outside for a ball. This is an opportunity for Clase to get something happening.
And now that's Hudson's, I believe, Hudson's 4th straight ball that he's thrown.
He is at 69 pitches, going to be at 70 after this one. Here's the 1-0. Now here's a ground ball, going to be a double play ball to throw to second, to throw to first. And that is in time for the double play.
Yeah. That's too bad because I was just going to say that this is a perfect opportunity for Clase to get something to drive, and he rolls over and into a double play.
I do wonder, though, if Canzone is back, who goes down? Does Clase go down? I think he 100%. Does go down.
100%. The other thing that you could consider is sending down what's his Luke Raley.
Ooh,
because right
really
now
much at that.
That's my reasoning is because the Mariners aren't using him, and at least in Tacoma he's going to be playing every day. He's going to be playing 5 days a week, so at least he's going to get his at bats, and so maybe down there he can actually get into a groove and they can bring him up.
Now here's Josh Rojas, who will drop it in for a base hit. Josh Rojas has been contributing.
Nice little slap hit into left field. I love it.
I love slapping.
I love seeing left-handed hitters go the other way using the entire field. But yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if you're not going to use them, and if you're only going to use Raley in pinch hitting situations, it defeats the purpose because you're sending Raley up to the plate cold. At least in Tacoma, he's going to be able to get into some sort of groove.
Now here is JP Crawford, and that is going to be a strike.
Let's go, JP.
JP is batting leadoff. He is working on a 1-0-1. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a line out, unfortunately. They were not so bad hits. They just couldn't leave the glove.
And here comes the snow. The snow is now falling in Colorado.
Oh, come on. It's not even sticking.
It's not even sticking. Yeah, well, this was going to be the case. The forecast did call like in the 9 o'clock hour Eastern. It did call for a little light snow showers, but I don't think this is going to turn into anything heavy where they're going to have to.
No, it's just a bunch of flurries. But hey, maybe 10, 20 years from now, they'll be like, call the game. If they see one flake of snow, they'll be like, call the game.
Well, they have to at least get 5 innings in before the game can be official. Yeah, so. If it does get heavy, maybe they'll get one more inning in. They'll just call it. But
hey, we'll take a win.
Yeah.
We're looking at a 1-2.
This reminds me of the '97 World Series in Cleveland. Snow flurries.
Now here is a ground ball, and that gets on by, and that is not going to be fielded, and it gets on by again, and Rojas gets the third base.
Oh, and they're just booting it.
He never stopped.
And what's crazy is, it was originally fielded by the second baseman. He couldn't come up with it. Backing him up is the first baseman, Montero, and it looked like he just booted the ball. which allows Rojas to get to third base. But I would probably assume they're going to call that an infield hit.
And Rojas was actually, I think he was stealing on that one too.
No, that was, what's interesting. That I actually have it the other way around. It was Montero that originally fielded that ball.
Now here's Julio Rodriguez, and the snow flurries are really just flying in. I really hope they don't call it. Let the players play. Here's the pitch. Now here's a line drive, and that's going to be a base hit. And here comes Josh Rojas, and the Mariners now take a 3-0 lead. And J.P. Crawford's going to third base, and Julio Rodriguez already contributing.
There it is. A nice little 2-out base hit, something that we don't see a lot of from the Mariners, cashing in with 2 outs. Very good piece of hitting there. Swing. It looks like he was swinging on the first pitch. It was a sinker on the looked like on the outside corner of the plate, and Julio getting out in front of it and dumping it into center field. Not the greatest hit in the world, but guess what, man? It'll do.
And it looks like he wasn't even trying to murder that pitch too.
That's what's going to round out Julio's game. It's like when the fastball isn't there, when the home run ball is not there, just taking what the pitcher's willing to give you and cash in.
Throw to first, and it's not in time. I'm gonna check the weather myself and see how long this snow is going to last.
So
if it is 7 o'clock there, they said it's going to end at 9, but it's not freezing point.
Right. So
it's still coming down.
I wonder what you do in a snow delay, right? So if you're in a snow delay, like, do the players go out and then try to build snowman, have a snowball fight?
The Mariners are going to be the first to do that. You saw Bryce Miller posing himself as that cowboy. 1-0, and that's a ball. 1-1.
For Eric in the chat, if this will cause another makeup game, if they can get one more inning in, they'll just call the game after 5 innings. It would be a Mariners win, so probably not.
Now we're looking at a 2-0. Here's the pitch, and that is inside. And Julio gets another stolen base. That is 6, or could be 7.
Julio, that's a very smart heads up base running, erratic pitcher, not a great catcher. Why not steal as many bases as you possibly can?
And Mariners, they've been their level of patience has been something I haven't seen as much this season. 6 for 6, Julio is on stolen bases. So he's off to a good start with stealing those bags. Now Polanco has a chance to really extend it. Here's the 3-0. And that is inside for ball 4. And I wonder if this is going to be it, at least for this inning.
And you knew that was going to happen with first base open. They're not going to give Polanco any opportunity to do damage against him. But now with the bases loaded and 2 outs, it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to leave Hudson into this situation. They do have Victor. I think it is Victor. Victor somebody or something or other in the Colorado bullpen. It looked like he's ready to go, and as of right now, it looks like they're going over a few things. So it looks like Hudson might finish this inning out.
They might just do.
But bases, they're gonna stick with Hudson in this situation. But that being said, if he gets any piece of the plate, this is going to be a 5-0 game, 6-0 game at
especially with Mitch Haniger up to the bat, and he usually does, and he does well with runners in scoring position.
Mitch, I think Mitch struck out.
He struck out and ground out. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, struck out and ground. He's 0 for 2. So, that being said, though, this is the guy you want up in this situation.
And now that's going to be a 1-0 count for Mitch. He's batting .284 with 3 homers and 13 RBIs. 2 career grand slams. Now here's the pitch. And that's a swing and a miss. He tried to be the hero. His last grand slam was July 9th versus Los Angeles in 2021.
And that's probably the scouting report for Mitch. Sliders low and away, a heavy dose of it. He got one right there. Big swing.
1-1. And that's up high for ball 2, 2-1. And so much for me adding Hudson to the fantasy team. It's really going to hurt. I gave it a chance.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
It really does. Now here's
nice
2-1, and that's a 2-2.
It's nice to see that the Mariner offense ruined your fantasy night.
Yeah, I'll take it. Maybe it was a reverse jinx maneuver. And now we're looking at a 2-2. Here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. He's going to have to run this one out to throw to first. And he doesn't run it out. And that is going to be in time. But the Mariners do tack on some runs on there, or at least one more. And that's going to be a 3-0 game thanks to Julio's RBI.
Yeah, that was a little, that was a routine ground ball right there to shortstop. So it was nice to see Julio cash in with 2 outs, and it would have been even better for Handy right there with the bases loaded to bring in a couple more. But the good news is Castillo has now got a 3-run lead, and this is exactly what you want with Luis. An opportunity just to I wouldn't say take it easy, but at least breathe a little bit now on the mound, knowing that you got a 3-run lead.
You absolutely can breathe, and I know I'm probably going to jinx it really hard, but would it be funny to see a game called when Luis Castillo has a no-hitter going? And I just jinxed it, I know, but it would be funny.
But here's the thing, though, right? If they call it after 5 and he hasn't given up a hit, it still counts as a no-hitter.
And that will go down in the Mariners' books. And I think in no-hitters in history, Randy Johnson was the first, then it was Bosio. And I think after Bosio, it was the 6 pitching effort against the Dodgers. Then Felix's perfect game. And then James Paxton no-hitter. So Castillo has an opportunity for history, but jinxing alert, I may have ended it.
I was at 2 of those.
You were at Bosio, and
I was at Bosio's.
The 6 no-hitter game.
Correct. And it turned out when Randy threw his no-hitter, I went to the day out. I was at the game the day after.
I went to the Mariners game the day before the Philip Humber perfect game. And I had I had considerations of going to that Saturday game, but I was working that next day, so I went to the Friday. I settled for Friday. And I was
By the way,
wow.
That was one of the most embarrassing things to ever happen to the Mariners, because Philip Humber was a terrible pitcher. He was really a very bad pitcher, and there was no way in hell that Philip Humber should ever be pitching a perfect game ever. But I always say that it's like the baseball gods opened up the heavens and shined a little light on him that day.
Yeah, and they took a crap on the Mariners too.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at a 1-1 to Tovar, and we're checking in the snow. It doesn't look that bad. I would wonder if it can still keep going, and that is foul. That's gonna be a 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2. Yeah, the Bosio perfect game was awesome. I was at that game at the Kingdome, and there wasn't a lot of fans there. And but midway through the game, everybody started realizing what was going on. And I remember the ground ball to Omar Vizquel to end it
with his bare hand. And Brett Boone hit a home run that game too, and he made some really good plays. Here's the 2-2. That is a 3-2 count.
Even though that A-Rod is one of my favorite Mariners of all time, Omar Vizquel was by far my favorite shortstop of all time.
Could have had Omar and A-Rod. Here's the pitch and fouled. And Mariners also got rid of Omar Vizquel due to cheap ownership.
Yep. He was coming up on, I think they traded him for Felix Fermin, which went down as one of the worst trades in Mariner history.
And Reggie Jefferson.
Yeah. And Omar was not going into his contract year. He was going into the last year. It was going to be 94.
It was 94.
It was 94. So he was going, the 94 year was his walk year, and they traded him after the 93 season for Felix Fermin.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and we got 1 down.
And they could have had him for 94. They got rid of him. But, we're talking about Omar Vizquel, who at the time was not an offensive threat. So it's not like Omar Vizquel was going to command a large contract anyway, right? So imagine moving Vizquel to second base. Imagine having Little O instead of Joey Cora at second base. And A-Rod is like, you have two of the great defensive middle infielders of all time, up the middle. Holy crap. And then you have Junior in center field and Dan Wilson. Like, the best defenses are up the middle. Imagine, oh my God.
Brett Boone was traded away for Dan Wilson.
Yep. And that also made me upset too, because Booney, even as a rookie, Booney was still a hell of a defender too.
Yeah, his bat wasn't quite there, but the glove was always there.
The glove was always there.
Man, he could have been part of that. He would have been easily a 20 home run hitter in the Kingdom without even trying.
The crazy thing though is that I was okay with the Eric Hansen and Brett Boone deal to Cincinnati that brought Ayala and Wilson, all those guys back. I didn't have a problem with that because the Mariners needed a catcher. It was the Vizquel deal for Felix Fermin that I was so angry.
We're looking at a 2-2 for Ryan McMahon.
And we could have had Mariano Rivera because there was
and foul ball. Wait, was it off of the Randy Johnson trade?
No, no, it was so when the Yankees didn't know if Derek Jeter was ready to go in '96, and Steinbrenner had told Cashman to look around for shortstop.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, got 2 down.
He told Cashman to look around the league for veteran shortstops. They called Seattle, and they had a framework deal in place that would have sent Felix Fermin to the Yankees, and we would have got a young Mariano Rivera.
But would they have used him as a starter is the question. So who knows?
No, they would have used him out of the bullpen because he was at that point, he was already a setup guy. He wasn't the closer yet because they still had Wetland, right?
Now here's a line drive, and that is a base hit. And goes the no-hitter. And
jinx.
I'll take the blame. It's my fault, guys. Put it on blast, everyone.
Yeah, that was. Could you imagine in '96 having
Mariano Rivera,
and they would have used him as a closer,
and Ayala and Norm Charlton would have had better longevity with the Mariners because they wouldn't have been placed in those kind of positions they were never a part of.
Well, at least Charlton, the Sheriff was a serviceable closer.
At least just in 95, and then something happened in 96, and then 97 was when everything blew up.
Well, they got Mike Timlin in 97.
1-0. Check swing. Yeah, he went. Come on. He went on that one.
Yeah. They also got Paul Spoljaric.
Did you know that Joe Carter was in considerations for Jose Cruz Jr., but then they were like, well, we don't want the small chunk of that contract.
Yeah, that's but by 97.
Now here's a fly ball, and that's in the gap, and that is caught by Julio. He covered a lot of ground on that one, and that's going to retire the side. And I thought that was going to go in the gap, but Julio really covered that ground well. And now you were saying?
Yeah. So if we would have got Joe Carter in like 91, 92, maybe even 93, I would have been all for it. Because I mean, at that point, he was getting votes.
There was a consideration for Joe Carter in 91.
No, I'm just saying if that was a possibility to get Joe Carter like in his prime, but by 97, Joe Carter he hit 234 with a 284 OBP, a 399 slugging. He did hit 21 dingers and drove in 100 runs. But he was a shell of his former self. But that being said, if you put him in a lineup surrounded by Junior and A-Rod and Buhner and Edgar, who knows what would have happened? But he was done after the 90. He was basically done after the 97.
So whether you had Kelly or Carter, you're still losing that first round, unfortunately.
Oh, 100%. You weren't going to get past Baltimore unless you could pitch, and in that 97.
Well, they couldn't, series. And Mussina had their number.
Yeah. That him and Pedro Martinez were the two Mariner killers. Right. What's funny is, don't get me wrong, Roger Clemens had nice games against the Mariners, but the Mariners also got to Roger Clemens at times as well, too.
They did.
But
The only
yeah,
hitter that could capably hit against Mussina was Edgar.
yeah, and the thing about Pedro and Moose, it was like it didn't matter whether you were on the road or whether you were at the Kingdom or T-Mobile Park. Uh, they just had our number, period, point blank.
And it took all the way until a Richie Sexton 2005 Mariners to beat Pedro Martinez, and that's when he just peaked.
Yeah, and you know that, and by that point in time, you know the prime Pedro years were long gone.
I mean, it was probably still that was probably their top moment of 05 was beating Pedro.
You know the other guy who was sneaky good against the Mariners. There were two guys. Bartolo Colon was sneaky good against the Mariners, and also CC Sabathia.
I can see that. Here's the pitch.
Was pretty good,
and that is inside. I mean, CC and Bartolo Colon had the 2 wins against the 2001 Mariners in the playoffs.
Yep.
And Cal Raleigh's with a home run and an RBI single. He has well contributed. Here's the 1-0.
Yep.
And that is outside for another ball. That's going to be a 2-0. And amazingly, they still have Hudson out there because I think they're managing their bullpen for the double headers.
Yeah, I would probably have to agree with you on that one. So they're trying to get as much out of Hudson as they can. But that being said, if the Mariners blow this thing open here in the 5th,
then they'll pull them out.
They're not going to have a choice.
Here's a pitch, and that is a strike.
And that was right down Broadway too.
And I wonder if that could be an indication that what if Colorado's kind of called the game on themselves if they're still letting Hudson pitch on a situation like this, not having to use the bullpen so early. Here's a 3-1, and that is ball 4 and so many walks.
So this coming from Eric in the chat, he said the Sexton Beltre offseason was amazing. Results be damned. I love that Beltre signing, and even Sexton
I loved it too. I still love it. I would do it over and over and over again.
I loved Adrian Beltre coming to Seattle. That was one of the best signings we've ever had.
Speaking of talking about pitching change, that has just happened. They are going to the bullpen.
Yep. The problem with Sexton was by the time he got to Seattle, he was already past his prime years. And I know that, the first couple of years he had a couple 30 home run seasons.
And 07, he was just done. He was gone.
Well, right. But the thing about Sexton was that he never hit those home runs. Like, he never seemed to hit home runs in the clutch. They were always they always came when the Mariners were down. You know what I mean? They never
didn't matter.
They came when it didn't matter. Not to take anything away from Richie. I've met Richie on a few different occasions. He was an all right guy, but his prime years were in Milwaukee, in Arizona.
Arizona for a month.
I remember when he came up with the Indians, and he was pretty solid with Cleveland. But yeah, the prime Richie Sexton was when he was with Milwaukee, and then when he came to Seattle. It was good to get him. I mean, I'm not saying that I was upset that Richie Sexton came to Seattle. It's just, he was a shell of his former self.
Really was.
I met Richie at a golf tournament in the Seattle area, and it was a leisurely day. It was it was the old Mariners Cystic Fibrosis Golf Challenge up at Newcastle. And
I love that. They have amazing food there too.
Yeah, and so all the Mariners were there. The Mariner broadcasting guys were there. Chuck Armstrong was there. Howard Lincoln was there, so I met Chuck and talked to Howard, and but the crazy thing was Richie. I don't know, man. Like Richie, like the next time I met Richie, he was in a good mood. That day, he just, I don't know, maybe he had a bad golf round. I don't know, but Richie was not happy to talk to anybody that day. But I thought Richie was an all right guy. I liked his Mariner commercial though.
Big Richie.
Richie. Yeah.
Oh, don't forget the Pokey Reese. You can slide head first. Pokey, your show's in an hour. Oops. I think that's the real reason he got injured. That's probably why he got injured. Pokey Reese.
Big Richie.
Here's the 1-0. And a swing and a miss.
That's funny.
Hey, you're really gonna win the Sheen, Richie. Win what? And we're looking at a 1 and 2. Or we're looking at a 2 and 1. And my
I remember that commercial. It was something about how he swam the Nile with a crocodile and he eats raw meat. Big Richie.
they're sunflower seeds. Big. No, here,
And
it's
you can
something
hit that
like
ball a
something
country
and the
mile.
oxen tall. Actually, I'm 6'8". He muscles trucks and wrestles with bears and eats raw meat.
Raw
They're
meat.
sunflower
Sunflower
seeds.
seeds.
Big Richie. And hold on, let me finish this after we get to France. Here's a 2-2. And it's 3. He slammed the Nile of a crocodile.
Crocodile.
And it's like, well,
Country mile.
as a matter of fact, I do. Big Richie. Big Richie.
Yeah.
Here's a 3-2 for Ty France. And here it is. Now here's a line drive base hit, and now that's going to be runners on first and second.
Nice
Runner
piece of
on
hitting.
scoring position.
Boom.
Ty France has stepping up.
Yep, second base hit of the night, and that was a solid pitch, and he just took it right up the gut. Unieski, but oh yeah, okay. So
Defense was bad, but he had good hitting.
My favorite Mariner from the 2008 to 2012 gap was Russell Branyan.
Russell the Muscle Branyan.
We called him Muscle Mannion.
Muscle Mannion. Now here's Mitch Garver up to the plate. Here it is, and that is a strike.
Let's go.
I remember who was my favorite players during the Basie era. Richie was up there. But that was about it.
Who was my favorite player?
Jose Lopez was my favorite.
No. I hated him.
He was my favorite.
Who was my favorite player?
Foul territory.
The Basie era.
That took a nice bounce. And the guy didn't even catch. The purple guy didn't even catch it. It was like literally an easy one.
I think my favorite player of the Basie era was either Adam Jones or what's his ass, who went to Washington.
Mike Morse.
Mike Morse.
Who they prematurely gave up on. They didn't even give him a shot. Here's the 0-2. And now here's a line drive, and that is a base hit. And I wonder if they're going to score from there. Nope. That is going to be runners. Bases loaded.
Raul Ibanez, of course.
I met him before. Very uptight guy. Who's super uptight.
Do you know who was not a good dude? JJ Putz. Not a good dude. He
wasn't a good dude.
Mm-mm. And what's his, the Port Orchard guy?
Aaron Seeley?
No.
Aaron Seeley was Paulsbo.
The bench player, Willie Bloomquist. Yeah.
And a swing and a miss. And Classe, he has an opportunity with the bases loaded, but knowing how he's been doing, it looks like the pitchers may have figured him out by now.
You know what would be an excellent idea is dropping one down. Nobody out, put the squeeze play on.
But not with Cal Raleigh's feet. Here's the pitch, and that is low for a ball.
Well, you get them taken off. You put the guys in motion and you drop a bunt.
Yeah.
But you got to bunt it down the first base line.
When I think of a suicide squeeze, I think of Eric Burns, and Ichiro nearly bailed him out. Like literally nearly bailed him out. Here's a pitch. Here's a ground ball. That is a base hit. And that is going to be a score. Here comes Cal Raleigh. And the ball gets on by. We got to get some more runs in there. And Klossy's going to third base. That's going to be all 3 runs. And they're rounding him. Throwing the plate.
They got him.
He's out.
They got him. him.
I like the attempt. I didn't blame him. He was like, "Go for it."
No, with his speed, that's going to be a 3-run triple right there for Classe. That was a good piece of hitting. It actually only should have been a 2-run single, but the ball gets on
by,
gets right past the right fielder and gets all the way to the wall, scoring all 3. And then and of course Classe's got the Jets turned on, and I like that he decided to go for it.
I would have gone for it.
At the third base coach,
to send him in.
Yeah, Acta was rounding him, and that was a bad play by the right fielder. He took his eye right off the ball.
And also that only made it 1 out.
when I think of, and it's 6-0 now, this is big, very big, big, big for the Mariner offense. 6 runs. Ooh, that was a good pitch. When I think about a suicide squeeze, I always go back to the Game 3 of the 2000 ALDS when Carlos Guillen dropped dropped the squeeze.
Here's the 1-1, and that is low for a ball for Josh
And
Rojas.
that's one of the biggest reasons why I always love Lou Piniella, because he had the biggest set of cojones on him. Like who does that in a playoff game? You know what I mean? Like who drops down a squeeze play?
2-1.
Yeah.
You know, I was supposed to go to that game. My dad had tickets, and my mom, you know what moms do. No, the son, he has to go to school. And here's going to be the 2-2, the pitch. That is up high for a ball.
That's when your dad steps in and overrules your mom and be like, you know what? We're going.
No, because you know how sometimes dads do. Sometimes they don't want to upset the wife. And then grandma on top of that, because grandma was living with us. Here's the pitch. Up high for ball 4. But now in retrospect, now that my grandpa, he's no longer here. He passed last year. Now I can say, yeah, it was good he went to that game, not me. At least he got to experience some good Mariner moments.
Well, you know, it sounds like your dad was overruled by your mom and grandma at the time, right? So,
I mean, when you have mom and grandma, you kind of, in the Korean culture, you can't negotiate.
They put the screws to your dad.
They did. And here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball and right to first base. A glorified sacrifice bunt. Rojas will go to second base.
It works.
No, I'm not mad about Crawford's 0 for 3. I mean, maybe we should be, but they just gotta find the field somewhere.
Well, you know, the first 2 at bats, he made solid contact. That one wasn't so much, but
no. Now here's Julio Rodriguez with that big ski mask of his. Can he do something? Here's the pitch, and he takes it for a strike.
Julio. And by the way,
Eric, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And Julio's got the RBI single. He's 2 for 3.
Batting 237 now. Here's the pitch. And that is a ball.
Yeah, so this was
even with the bullpen, Colorado is still having problems.
Yeah, and this is this is a very good situation for Julio. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Again with a runner in scoring position. He did it last time with 2 outs. So
the pitch. That is up high for the ball, and that catcher tried to frame it.
Yep.
Kind of tough to frame that one.
And you can tell that Diaz behind the plate for Colorado is not that good of a pitch framer.
The 2-1 fouled back all the way to the Toyota logo.
What are you doing, Julio? And these are the moments that drive me crazy with Julio, because now he's got the big eyes. You know, he's got, he's 2 for 3. He's feeling it a little bit. Got a runner in scoring position.
He wants that bomb. Here's the 2-2. And that is fouled. He wants the bomb. You can just see it in him.
And by the way, that was a good pitch for Julio. He just got out in front of it a little too quick and put it foul. But that pitch location is, down over the plate, just a little down. He usually crushes that pitch.
No, I can't blame him for wanting to hit the home run. I would have done the same, try to do the same thing. Here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, right? And it gets on.
It gets on through.
I think that's gonna be another run for Rojas, and yes, it is. And the Mariners will make it a 7-0 game.
Boom. And Julio again cashing in with 2 outs right here, and now it's 7-0 Mariners. The Mariners have only scored more than 6 runs. I think twice this year,
and now they've done it.
And now they got it a 3rd time right here. So, and it looked like it may have bounced a little off the second base bag, and it tipped the glove of the second baseman into center field, but it may have hit the second base bag.
It may, who knows? And Eric, thank you very much for that shout out. Yep. And yes, and also donate to this channel as well.
Yep, get off your wallet.
Get off that damn wallet.
Yeah.
And the pitching coach or manager is having a conversation.
Yep.
And this, unfortunately, for the Rockies, seems to be a lost game for them unless they can pull a 2023 Chicago Cub.
Well, there's two things about that. Number one, Chris Flexen is not pitching for us, so that's
So
a
there's that.
positive. There's that. So
I am
unless
sad that Chris Flexen didn't work out in the second half of his career with the Mariners. I actually
yeah,
did like him.
well, yeah, no, his 2021 season was excellent. And the one thing that I liked about Flexen was the fact that he had that curveball that neutralized hitters, right? So if he would be in a situation where batters were looking fastball, he would throw that Uncle Charlie, and he would induce a lot of ground ball outs.
And now it's a
And
1-1.
the Mariners took that curveball away from him, and he suffered. He didn't have that secondary pitch.
Julio's taking the lead at first. I wonder if just for craps and giggles, if he is just going to just try to steal it. He did check the runner at first, though.
Might as well.
And now here's the pitch. And that is a strike. Not a lot of folks bringing you Mariners play-by-play on the daily. I mean, I haven't really been doing it daily because of hashtag don't quit your day job. And sometimes I don't want... Sometimes I don't want to strain my eyes by looking at a screen all day or all night. Here's the 1-2. And that's a 2-2. Vodnik with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Jorge is looking at a 2-2. Practically, I've only missed 4 games. So I've pretty much been watching the season. Here's a 2-2. And that gets away. That's going to be a free base for Julio. He was even thinking about going to third. But it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, and Vodnik is struggling right now. He can't hit the strike zone, and now he puts one in the dirt right there. It kind of caromed off the umpire's knee right there.
Now I'm curious who's going to be the guys for the next couple, or for the next 2 games after this. And now here is the 3-2 pitch. And that is a ground ball, and that will get swiped by the first baseman. That was Montero. And that will retire the side. But the Mariners do put in much more runs. It's going to be 7-0, and we'll be back.
7-0.
Yeah, and then we'll be back right after this. Timeout. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal. And you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code ROOFTOPSPORTS to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Yep, take advantage of the code. You guys know the drill. I don't really care that much.
You know the drill. Get your tickets.
You guys know the drill. I don't want to kick it like a dead horse and look like a needy person. And they're showing the Sonic commercial. I have to say, I have a feeling the first time I tried Sonic, I didn't try it in its prime. I think I ate Sonic too late. I think if I ate it a little bit younger, I would have enjoyed it easily a lot more.
Well, see, back before Sonic came to the Puget Sound area, the closest Sonic was right outside Portland, Oregon. And this was back in 2005. I took a road trip down to Portland with an ex-girlfriend of mine who wanted to go get Sonic. So we made a big deal about it over the weekend. And I remember trying it once, and it wasn't
about their shakes. It's their shakes and their Slurpees that are the goods.
Sure.
And the most ironic thing about Sonic is it came from Oklahoma. So we had Sonic from Oklahoma coming here.
Right.
And then we gave him a basketball team. There's a lot of irony in there.
Well, I didn't like Sonic at all. As a matter of fact, Jack in the Box crushes Sonic on it. Like burger for burger, Jack in the Box crushes.
You, I had the spicy chicken popcorn today at Jack in the Box.
It's so good. I am so jealous the fact that you guys got Jack in the Box.
Surprised you guys don't even have one in Michigan.
No, it's a West Coast burger chain. But you know what? I got to tell you, man, I really like what the Mariners have been doing tonight. They get the big inning right there, putting up a 4 spot. But what I like about it was that in the 3 innings prior, they just kind of stacked their little 1-run innings, and then all of a sudden had the big inning. And this is
one pitch, and that is in their first strike.
And
Eric moved to Arkansas. I didn't know you're in Arkansas. That means you're watching the Travelers.
Yeah.
So there's a reason to be in Arkansas if you're a Seattle Mariners fan. There's none in Montana. Closest
Yep.
one is Boise, Idaho.
Yep.
Wow.
And yeah, no,
1-2.
Jack.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
You know, like out here in Michigan, we have McDonald's and Burger King, but you know, that's about as far as fast food burgers. That's about as far as it goes. And yeah, the nearest Jack in the Box is in Indianapolis, and I'm not driving down to Indianapolis for that. I'll just wait till I get back to Seattle once a year, and I'll
and then you'll be
stock.
gorging on Jack in the Box.
I did it last
swing
time.
and a miss. And the flurries of snow is coming down once again, but I'd say as long as nothing's sticking and getting wet, it should be okay.
It's more about visibility. If the snow gets heavy,
maybe
then they'll
maybe that's why all the errors have been happening. 0-2, and that is a ball.
It could be that the Rockies infield is just not that good. Could be.
And here's the 1-2, and that is a ball again. Eric, you lived in Tacoma most of your life. If you lived in Tacoma, do you know a guy named Chris Brannon, a.k.a. the Sonics guy? Here's a 2-2. Foul. Here's a fly ball. And makes the catch.
Pop up right behind the first base bag. The best part of Tacoma that I've always liked was the Point Defiance area. I was a big fan of the Point Defiance area down on Ruston Way. I used to go to this old little casino called the Point Defiance Cafe and Casino. I used to play poker there quite regularly.
I just started playing poker with some friends this year, and I feel like I asked myself, what have I been doing all my life not playing poker?
I played for a year. This was in 2005. That was my job for a year, and I think I ended up winning. I think my profit was like 7,500 that year, but it wasn't sustainable. But I played most of the games that I played was at Point Defiance.
And Ty France let the ball drop.
Yeah.
Wow. I think maybe it has something to do with the skies and all that snow that's falling out. I don't know.
I mean, you're talking about visibility. When the snow starts falling, you have a white ball cast against a blue sky with snow coming down. So
you can tell Ty France like, wait, where's the dang ball?
Yeah. Yeah, he
Something
lost.
Tells me that I think they may call this.
You know, it's you get up there in the lights, you have snow and you have the lights, and you couldn't find it until it came down. So
there's a ground ball right to Rojas, throw the second, and once again another easy inning. Although can't even tell if that was a hit or an error, but
it'll go down as a hit.
It is a hit, and Mariners are still up 7-0.
Yeah, if they are going to call it now, that would be the time to call it. They've already got 5 in, so it would be considered a complete game if they decided to call it at this point.
I wonder if they are.
And it might be a wise thing to do, considering it's still 32 degrees there. Tomorrow it'll get back up to the mid 60s. So the Mariners have this game comfortably in their back pocket. I wonder what brought Eric down to Arkansas. That's
other than cheaper cost. Yeah, Eric, what brought you to Arkansas?
Yeah, for sure.
And you cannot say because it's cheaper, because that would be everyone's answer.
Did you watch Ozark and say, hey, that looks like a cool place to live?
Y'all.
Cost of living. No, but what specifically? Was it a job that you ended up taking down there? I mean, Arkansas seems like very out of the way.
We're finding out.
I can tell you I moved to Michigan because of General Motors, and the cost of living out here is phenomenal.
I heard the state to absolutely not move in, where to the point that we bought a house. There's one. I heard a state that is absolutely not worth moving to, even with no matter how dirt cheap it is, Mississippi. Jobs are very sparse, hard to run a business.
Yeah.
But the only reason people are staying there, including the locals, is they have huge family connections. So
sure. Well, I think
is what keeps them there.
Well, I know for a fact that Mississippi has two big assembly plants. They have a Nissan assembly down there, and they also have a BMW assembly down there. which serves like 4 or 5 or 6 communities down there. But yeah, I would probably assume Mississippi. And I know that in northern Louisiana, there's a lot of issues in northern Louisiana. A lot of like you can get property for like less than 50 grand. But there's, what are you going to do down there? There's no work.
No work. Not really. Can't really raise children there.
I mean, you could. You guys, I mean, I don't know how fun it would be raising kids at the poverty line, but
not many can buy a house up here in Mariner
Yep.
territory. That's an understatement.
That's a
Here's Mitch
very big
Haniger to
understatement.
the
Yeah.
plate, and that is up high for a ball.
Yeah, the
I mean,
housing
look
market
at
no,
you can't even
Seattle
buy
is
anything
ridiculous.
outside of the big three that's considered affordable.
Yeah, there was a time where in the suburbs, down in Federal Way, Pierce County, north in Snohomish County, where people would just move to the suburbs because you can get a nice little 3-bedroom house for like less than 150 grand. Those were the days. Now the suburb houses are $300,000 to $400,000, and you can't even think about living in Seattle unless you're making $1 million.
Maybe $1 million, you're like, eh. Even in Seattle, you're still eh. Forget anything left west of the Rockies. I know, 2-1. Now here's a fly ball to deep center field, and
it's caught.
It is caught.
Yeah. Took it for a ride, though. Nice to see Mitch. Nice to see Mitch get into one.
Yep, and we're looking at it's a 7-0 game so far. Still 7-0.
Yeah, the snow's coming down a little harder.
From Ashford, if they could afford it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to know something, last year, $900K in a single family home in Bellevue near Crossroads. As Cal Raleigh is getting up to the plate, and I'll explain later after this pitch. Here is the pitch. And now here's a ground ball foul. $900K, and all I can say for a single family near Crossroads, the cleanest part of that house was the toilet. Obviously, cannot finance it. Obviously, it's an investor that was going to buy it, probably flip it.
Ooh, base hit.
Now the line drive, base hit. Cal Raleigh does it again. He's been nothing but perfect this game. That's 2 singles and a home run and a walk.
Absolutely, Eric. It is a friendly reminder to throw up a like if you had for supporting the channel, and also go swing by my Twitter feed at Swinging Pod. You can check out the YouTube link to Swing for the Fences, and if you like that show, give it a like, give it a follow. You can check all the entire catalog.
It's a work in progress for him so far. Hopefully, he can get to the level where me and Jay Trident are at, because all of us are trying to get to that level where Mojo, Couch, and Marine Layer Podcast are at.
Yeah, well, they got a head start.
Mojo got the head start before anybody did.
Sure. We're doing
looking
all
at
right.
The 1-0. Here's the pitch.
We started last June. We launched last June, and so we were there for the stretch drive, and we did a couple off-season shows. We didn't have a lot of content during the off-season, just because we don't subscribe to the hoopla of the hot stove. But since spring training, we've been back full force every Tuesday.
And here's the 1-1, and that is fouled again. It's going to be now 1-2 count for Ty France.
Ty is 2 for 3, two nice base hits.
He really much has. And now we're looking at the 1-2 count for Ty France, and here is the pitch, and that is up high for a ball, and that was not even a good frame job on that one. Tomorrow will be the doubleheader. George Kirby and Emerson Hancock will be your next 2 pitchers.
I want to go. Oh, that's a.
Now here's a fly ball to nothing.
I got to give a shout out to all the fans there in Colorado sitting through this game. They're sitting there in the snow. They're sitting there in the snowstorm watching this baseball game tonight, all bundled up. You know what I mean?
That's all bundled up watching a loss.
Yeah, but you know what though? It looks like they're having fun. I saw a mom with her little kid all bundled up eating ice cream. It's pretty cool.
Ice cream in the snow. That's special.
Hey,
I gotta try that someday. Ice cream in the snow with coffee. And Mitch Garver, here's the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. Throw to first. And it's in time. And now that will retire the side. We are going into the bottom of the 6th. I still wonder if they're going to call this game.
You can.
Hey, Steve, is that YouTube channel having?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, link them to it.
Yeah, if you go to my my YouTube my what's it called? My Twitter handle is in my description here on the screen. If you go to my Twitter feed, you'll see the YouTube link. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll find it there. Or if you're at YouTube, you just go to Swing for the Fences 27. Swinging for the Fences 27. There it is right there.
You're welcome.
Thank you, buddy.
Let's make that happen. Let's make him the big boy.
Or you can also make me a medium boy. It's okay. I don't have to be that big, but
let's at least give Mojo a run for their money.
You know what? Here's the thing, though. I'm not really competing with anybody. I like the Mariner YouTube bloggers to be one big happy family. You know what I mean? Like I like to help people out, and if they want to help me out, that's cool too. I mean, I'm not necessarily looking to compete with anybody. I don't have any Twitter beefs with anybody. So,
I mean, there's at least a couple that are like, oh, that got nah.
Oh, are you talking about the Locked On folks?
Yeah, and I heard I wasn't that special. They do it to basically anybody that breeds wrong.
Yeah, well, whatever, man. I'm not going to bring their political aspirations or beliefs into it, but they're kind of crazy.
They're somewhere there.
They're somewhere there. So,
but I think that's like most Locked On things anyway, because Locked On's is like a big national thing anyway.
But getting back to that thing, the fact that he blocked you was ridiculous. I saw the tweet that you sent him. He was like, I remember watching one of his shows where he was explaining that if there was any type of racial thing happening, you would get blocked. Understood. That makes sense. Then I saw what you tweeted, and I was like, you got blocked for that.
It was for the Munoz decision.
Yeah. It was you were just literally asking a question. It made no sense.
That is a swing and a miss. That is a strike one. I think that's Blackman up, and they're still playing this game, and Luis Castillo is still pitching.
Yeah.
I thought they would take him out. Oh, and I wonder if the time called by the umpire.
Yep. Time is called.
Wonder if there's signs like, hey, can you still play in the snow? I don't know.
No, it was. It looked like it might have been an issue with the pitch clock there.
0-1, and that is foul ball, strike 2. And Luis Castillo has been nothing short of fantastic today. This is the Luis Castillo that we wanted. And I remember I went in this game nervous because it doesn't play usually well in cold weather. Now here's the 0-2. And there were concerns about whether the Mariners are going to play rusty, but they didn't even miss a beat.
No,
with the exception of one inning.
Outside of the first inning tonight, they came back, and when you're looking at it, I mean, they scored one in the second, one in the third, one in the fourth. They just stacked together simple little 1-run innings, and then bam, in the 5th inning, you have that big 4 spot. And that's what you want to see from the Mariners, right? It's not about the big inning, but if you can stack a couple 1-run innings up there, take what you can get, and give your pitcher a nice little lead. You saw what happened, and tonight they get the 4-run 5th, and that pretty much buries them.
And it's just as long as the Mariners hold it. And you would think with Luis Castillo and a top 8 bullpen, you would think that the odds are good. And looks like we got some fans already leaving this game.
Sure.
Can't blame them, though.
Starting to snow a little bit more heavier. But, at the plate right now for Colorado is Ezequiel Tovar. I actually like this kid. He's batting .297 on the year, a couple home runs, 10 RBIs.
Looks like a teenager still.
Yeah, he does, but he's got that classic. That's the thing what I like about him. He's got that classic right-handed swing. It's so fluid; it comes right through the contact zone. This could be one of the next big Rockies. Although right here he strikes out, so guess not.
And you already said it. Yep, because you're ahead of me.
Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, but I still remember you also tricked me. Yep, gotcha. And glad that you're not sleepy because I know those late games are tough for you. I remember the
Oh
last
man.
game, you look like a zombie. You're like, oh yeah, the Mariners did this. And here's a
Uh,
ground ball right to Polanco.
Blanco, and
And once
that'll do.
again, a 1-2-3 inning for the Mariners. We go to the top of the seventh. Still
Yeah,
7-0.
that was a rough day, man. I had a very compact day of work where it was like nonstop from start to finish, and then I get off, and of course it's a West Coast game, so it doesn't start till 10 o'clock out here, or nine. It was like what 9:40, and by the time 9 o'clock rolled around, I was like, oh boy.
I'm also gonna look at around the league. Yeah, I saw that. And after the game, I was like, okay, let's just do a quick post game show, less than 10 minutes, and then get out of here. And the Reds destroyed the Angels, and looks like the Angels, their good start has already starting to expire.
Yeah, so let's see. Around the league, the Cubs are beating the Marlins 5-3. That's in the top of the ninth. Baltimore is beating KC 9-7. That's in the bottom of the seventh. Toronto is beating San Diego 4-0, and that's the top of the fifth with one out, runner on first. Tampa beat New York 2-0. The Twins beat the Tigers 4-3. That sucks. Go Tigers. Milwaukee crushed St. Louis 12-5. The Cubs dropped to the Marlins 3-2. The Nats beating the Astros today 5-4. Mets
Jesse
all over
Winker saved them.
Yep. And that's another thing we should talk about. Winker's having a good season so far. Mets beat the Dodgers 6-4. Boston beat Pittsburgh 4-2. San Francisco beat Arizona 7-3. Philly beat the White Sox 9-5. Cleveland, first place Cleveland beat the A's 6-3. And Cincinnati beating the Angels, not a surprise, 7-5. And Atlanta beating Texas 5-2. So right now, all of a sudden, the Mariners, when they win tonight, all of a sudden they're right at the top of the AL West
the division. And just a week ago, we were like,
yep,
there was a lot of panic going on, and it's not like we were panicking, but we were like, hey, but the offense, they really got to get it going,
right,
or else it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, with Texas losing today, the Mariners will be 10-10. They'll be at 500, and they'll be tied at the top of the division. And this is a crucial time, because now if the Mariners can sweep the Rockies,
Colorado Rockies, which there is a chance. But I would think that the Hancock game, I think, will be their toughest game.
We said that last time, and Hancock went out and had himself a great start. So it's a very good chance,
because we would also expect a rebound time from George Kirby, just like we saw a rebound from Luis Castillo. Although he did have a fantastic last start, just no run support to show for it.
Well, we could also say the same thing about Kirby as well too, because we've seen the bad Kirby when he leaves his fastball up, and again, we're in Colorado, so you just never know how the ball's going to fly. But that being said, if this is an indication of what
ground ball base hit, and that's another hit for Jonathan Clase. He just needs a home run and a double for the cycle if the game goes long enough.
Well, I will say that now that he's on first, I would like to see him steal. But judging by tonight, though, if this is the type of output the Rockies are going to do, I'm not going to have any problem with Kirby or Hancock.
Josh Rojas is now batting ninth in the order, and I think he is best for that spot, as he does provide a lot of value for this team.
Yeah,
here's
absolutely.
the pitch, and that is outside for a ball.
He is what JP Crawford was a few years ago in the number 9 position. Solid at bats,
good times.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Rojas go deep right here.
1-0, and that is a ball.
Yep,
2-0. Rojas still hanging with that 351 average.
You know what I like about Rojas?
What do you like about it? I like his athleticism.
I like his hairdo.
He has a good hairdo, and that is a strike.
No, I like his swing. And this was a guy that I was not impressed with last year at all when he came over. I was not impressed. I wasn't impressed with either of them. And I thought
Can't zone either.
I thought the Mariners could do a lot better.
And there's the no, we got a double play. Rookie mistake, Clase.
That was a liner too.
Yeah, that was one of those things where there was nothing you could have done kind of situations. Yep. Those liners are always killers.
Yeah, I didn't like him last year, and I thought the Mariners could do a lot better in the offseason. I like Josh Rojas coming off the bench as an infielder coming off the bench because he can play multiple positions. But I'll give him credit. He's off
to a good start. That's all we can say. Great start.
I'll give him all the credit in the world. Let's go,
Crawford
JP.
Is 0 for 4. He's got to do something. Last time he didn't even get a hit. It was reached on an error and a swing and a miss. And now if Crawford continues this is where I will get concerned because I really thought the leadoff spot was a perfect spot for him.
Yeah, it is. It is when he's hitting. And you have to understand that, they're going to give him a lot of rope. And I would probably assume that's going to last throughout the month of April. But that being said, if it doesn't look like signs are turning around, Service has no problem adjusting his lineup.
He really doesn't. Well, takes him a while to do it though.
True, but the problem is like if you adjust the lineup to an extent, are you going to get some guys out of the rhythm? Is it just a simple? Oh, there. And
here's a ground ball, line drive, base hit, and
there it is.
JP finally gets a hit.
There it is, and that was
really good.
And that was a pitch that was a little outside, and he puts a good bat to it, takes it the other way, and that's quintessential JP Crawford right there.
JP Crawford, and Molina has 13 pitches so far. Here's Julio. Maybe a home run could do for this one. I'd like to see it. I wouldn't mind happening.
But this is a solid stat line for Julio. 3 for 4, 3 singles, 2 stolen bases, a run scored, and 2 RBIs. This is a solid game for Julio.
He's batting .247, so he's finally getting his batting average to average at least.
And it
was off to a horrible start.
And it didn't take the home run to help him win. It was 2 RBI singles.
He really did well. And that's just like the Cincinnati series where he really stepped up and didn't do too much. Just like the first 2 games, like first 2 weeks, he was trying to hit a home run every single time. And we all know that forcing it just never works. And now we're looking at the 0-2. And now here's a line drive and base hit and another hit for Julio Rodriguez and bobbles the ball. And that gives Crawford a free bag to third base.
Yep. And again,
let's get some more runs on this.
Yep. It's the little outfield bobbles the second time that allows Julio, not Julio, but JP to go from first to third. And now all of a sudden you got runners on the corners with 2 outs and a solid opportunity for Polanco right here.
Very much so. And Julio having a chatter with the coach. 9 career 4-hit games. So very rare thing, but Julio gets it done.
We'll take
it. And I wonder what the Twitters are going to say. Oh, well, Mariners play Colorado, but they took advantage.
They took advantage, and this is what you do against bad teams. You take advantage of it. You pad your win-loss record against these 90-loss teams.
Yeah, and then you also use it for your run differential purposes if you want to get going with that. And
but that doesn't really come into effect until September, though, when you start really thinking about run differential. If it comes down to a tie in the
Polanco is 0 for 2. And speak of run differential, from what I saw, the 2016 Mariners were the most unlucky team in the history of baseball. Had a huge positive win differential of runs. Here's the pitch, and that is a ball. Yeah, they had a very high run differential and still couldn't make it. The Texas Rangers had an awful run differential and still made the playoffs.
Yeah, and baseball is weird that way.
That's all you can say. Why did this happen? Baseball. The pitch.
Baseball.
Here's a ground ball right to the pitcher. And
that'll do it.
And it's stretch time. We finally made it to the 7th inning stretch. Everyone get up on your feet if you are a fan. We will sing the Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root.
Root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame.
It really would, considering the big lead. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Louie, Louie. Oh no. We gotta go now. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the 2016 Mariners. Your catcher was Chris Iannetta.
He was good.
Your first baseman was Adam Lind. Robbie Cano at second base, Ketel Marte at short, Seager at third, Nori Aoki in left, Leonis Martin in center, and Seth Smith in right with your DH Nelson Cruz. The bench players that came through that year were Dae-Ho Lee, Franklin Gutierrez, Sean O'Malley, Mike Zunino, Guillermo Heredia, Luis Sardinia, Steve Clevenger, Ben Gamble, Jesus Sucre, Daniel Robertson, Stephen Romero, Daniel Vogelbach, Mike Freeman, and Chris Taylor. I really wish they would have kept Chris Taylor.
I wish. Oh, I wonder if they're calling it. Nah, but Castillo's at 80 pitches right now.
Luis Ugueto.
That was 2002.
I know. I just like saying
Hiram
Luis
Boca Chica
Ugueto.
2004 with robbing home runs.
Hiram Boca Chica.
Here's the pitch, and that is a strike. I actually made a video on the 2004 Mariners, and it was titled, "The 2004 Mariners season wasn't as bad as you remember." It actually was a fun season if people put in a different perspective. Like, you had Bucky Jacobson breaking out. You had Ichiro with the record-breaking season. You had Edgar Martinez on the retirement tour.
By the way, that season was as bad as you thought it was. Let's not try to play it up, because what's funny is, that veteran squad fell off a cliff, right? Because they were
overnight. They fell off overnight.
They were starting
it was like one of those. It was only a matter of time, and then 2004 was when it finally. It was like a bomb.
But it was like they were already past their prime, and like 2001 was like the apex, and then they still were productive in 02 and 03. But John Olerud was getting up there, Boone was getting up there, and all of a sudden, everything just fell off a cliff. And I felt bad.
Strike for Montero.
And I felt bad too, because both Olerud and Boone get DFA'd, designated for assignment late in the season. They end up finishing their career elsewhere, but still,
it was DFA'd 05. It was Olerud 04.
Yeah, there you go.
And he took over for Jason Giambi, who for some reason just stunk the hole that season.
Yeah. But the crazy thing though was that it was a bad way for that era to end. You know what I mean? Like it was sad seeing that, considering 2000 through 2003 was the high of heights, and it just sucks when not to be able to see him go out on their terms, and it left a bad taste in my mouth.
Eric, they didn't trade him to the Yankees. It was a DFA, and the Yankees picked him up, and some say Olerud's injury partially played a role in the collapse against the Yankees too. Because the one who took over was Tony Clark, and he was striking out like a mofo.
Yeah.
But Olerud, at least, if he did strike out, the pitcher had to earn it.
Yeah. One of the like next to Edgar, one of the best batting eyes that I've ever seen.
Here is a ground ball, and here's to Rojas. Throw to first, and nice play.
Yeah, great.
And Rojas is trying to prove that maybe he can play actual third base that we all miss from Eugenio Suarez, but Rojas has actually played surprisingly well for this team on third base.
Rojas is a natural third baseman. He was playing second base in the Diamondbacks organization, came through with the Mariners playing second base. But I'll say this though, he can play the position quite well.
He really can. Even your
It's
rise
always,
is kind of holding up.
it's all going to come down to his bat. Obviously, we're in a different era where, if other guys are contributing, you can carry a defensive player. So it's always going to come down to whether or not he's going to be able to
One
hit.
and
And so
one,
far,
and that is fouled. Trying to
so
think what else
far,
was at least good in 2004 because I know most of it was tragic.
looks like in the Mariner bullpen is Trent Thornton.
Bobby Mastrich.
Yeah, Bobby Madrich. Yeah,
1 and
I
2.
didn't I didn't like
As
Bobby.
outs. Well, I remember when I saw the highlights and I was wondering when I looked at the numbers, I was like, man, how did he not last? And then when I looked at his body, when I was looking at the highlights, I'm like, yeah, that checks.
Yeah,
He never
yeah.
was in shape.
No,
2-2.
man. I thought he had a cool delivery, but he always kept like the problem with Bobby is he didn't have movement on any of his pitches. So, it was either it's either he threw a good start or he got crushed. Uh
And
he
we're looking at the
definitely
2-2. And a swing and a miss. And there's that fist by Luis Castillo. And we're looking at another 1-2-3. And the La
good to start.
Piedra
Yeah.
is really just holding it up. And he's
His
actually at
best-
96 pitches. So I wonder if that would be his
Yeah.
final inning.
It most likely will, but his best start of the season.
It is easily his best start.
Yeah.
Yes, it's against Colorado, but hey, it's better to dominate against a bad team than lose to a shitty team.
Well, I think the key here is the fact that he had a 7-run cushion, right? So the Mariner offense was able, to give him a lead. And that's, there's a difference between Luis Castillo protecting a lead and Luis Castillo either pitching in a tie game or pitching down, where he feels like he has to be perfect. In these situations, he doesn't. So he can just go out there and pitch freely. It's actually
Pitch the way he would like.
Yeah, and and this is the Luis Castillo that we got from Cincinnati in 2022. This is the guy that you want to see every single start.
It is, and I would still do that trade again because considering the depth that the Mariners still have at shortstop, and that's why they did it because they knew they were able to back it. They knew they had insurance for that.
Well, the thing that you have to understand is that J.P. Crawford, it's like you're not going to unseat J.P. Crawford, even with the
while.
Well, even right with the contract, but even it would be a situation where you're going to have to play Novelli Marte at second base, and there was no guarantee that was going to happen anyway. So I would do that trade 10 times out of 10 as well.
Yeah, and now that Marte is suffering a suspension.
Yeah. And I wonder if this is Marte going out of his way to purposely use PEDs like as an advantage, or if this is more like what's his bucket down in San Diego? Tatis, right? So Tatis used performance enhancings to help recover from an injury because he couldn't recover properly, and that was the reason why he used it. And of course, he paid the price for it. And I'm wondering if this is something like if this is why Marte took.
And there's a pop fly by Luke Rayleigh, and he is pinch hitting. Looks like he's pinch hitting for, I believe it's France, probably. No, he's pinch hitting for Haniger. Because Haniger's not had a good day, so they're just going to give him a breather. Now here's Cal Raleigh, and I wonder what he's going to do next on this one.
Would be nice to see him to go deep.
For some reason, I thought it was dark outside, and it's still light. I just looked. I didn't even pay attention. I was so in tune with the game. Here's the pitch. And that is outside for a ball.
Oh,
it's dark on your end for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock out here.
And there's a ground ball foul.
Yeah, and I think that I like to give players the benefit of the doubt because they know that they can't use PEDs and to gain an advantage anymore these days. But sometimes you can't recover from injuries as quick as you want and get back out there, and so sometimes you speed up the process a little bit. Yeah, you speed up the process a little bit.
Is it snowing? Yes, it is. Some say, I know someone that actually believed that Edgar may have been on PEDs to get back from his injury when he was the third baseman from '93.
I've heard that rumor from a few different people, and it wouldn't
And
surprise
another hit for Cal
me.
Raleigh, 4 for 4. Another single. He has been absolutely efficient this game.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'll just say that I don't have definitive proof, and but that being said, if you remember in 1993,
he suffered a horrible injury.
Yeah, he tore his hamstring, and
his hamstring was like his Achilles heel.
Yeah, well, right, and he would early before that he would always pull it. This time he actually tore it, and it was out for a very, very, very long time. And
he missed pretty much the whole season.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if. But that being said, I mean he pretty much missed the entire season. But that being said, though, I've heard that rumor, but I tend to give Edgar the benefit of the doubt.
Well, if he did, at least he found a way to get away with it. Here's a pitch.
Well,
and that is fouled.
But this was also in the early 90s where 80% of the league was on steroids and there was no testing. So,
which leads you to think that Mark McGwire had to take one just to get out of that injury when he was with Oakland in 93 and 94. Sure. Here's the pitch, and that is a ball.
And the crazy thing is that, Jose Canseco, a lot of people don't believe him. I believe every single word he says. He has no reason at this point, even if he is selling books. It's, he would.
And here's a fly ball to right field, and that is fouled. So close.
He was saying that both him and McGwire were juicing back in their early Oakland days. So. We're talking.
McGwire hit 49 home runs on his rookie season, and he skipped that last day to be with his family. I think it was his son's birthday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because we all know McGwire juiced for pretty much all of his career.
We're looking at a 2-2. It's still a shame he's not in the Hall of Fame, though. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Here's a ground ball, and that's a double play.
Yep.
Because when it's Ty France grounder, guy on first, you're screwed. And now we go into the bottom of the 8th inning, and I think that is it for Castillo. As you can see that he is all jacked up. Yep. All we can say is fantastic pitching effort by Luis Castillo. Let's see how he did. It was 7 full innings, very strong innings, a 2-hit, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts in 96 pitches. If he was playing back in the old ball era, he would still be going for that 2-hit complete game. Yeah. But welcome to a new era of baseball.
Yeah, this was exactly the start that you wanted to see coming off the 2 days off. Pick up right where they picked up right where they left off, and they're now embarking on 4 in a row. This is perfect best case scenario for the Mariners. Tons of momentum heading into tomorrow's doubleheader. My only concern with playing a doubleheader tomorrow is, how is that going to affect Monday?
It could.
Yeah.
Because even with all that rest, 1 day rest they had, but then who knows? Maybe but I don't even know if they're playing a game on Monday, though. They're not. There's no game on Monday.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I thought they were playing.
I don't think there is going to be much of an effect. But even then, I'd be like, well, at least they're more conditioned in a way. Yeah, sure, they'll be tired, but at least their bodies will be somewhat warm. But yeah, either way, they get a day off. It will be against the Rangers for the next 3. And I am looking to at least do the Thursday game because I have at least a day off till 5.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. They're in Texas. Okay, there you go.
That will be a tough series, to say the least. And if we're looking at... Yeah.
Well, they're catching Texas right at the right time. Now, granted, the last couple of years, going down to Texas has been somewhat of a house of pain for the Mariners, especially last year. They're catching
with the
Texas
exception of 22. 22 was the outlier because of that. They were in the middle of that 14-game winning streak.
Right. But right now, the Rangers aren't firing on all cylinders right now, and it would be a very good situation to take 2 out of 3 from Texas down there.
I mean, I think any of us will take 2 of 3, and even the low standard Mariner fans would take 1 out of 3. I know Mariner fans are like, no, it's okay. I think we can take 1 of 3. I'm like, no, you go 2 of 3.
Well, oh wait, it's Tyson Miller. Sorry, not Thornton. The
Tyson
windup looks
Miller,
similar.
who's just on
Uh,
mop-up duty.
the thing, the it's going to work out well for the pitching matchups in that series. And again, it's you're catching the Rangers rotation right now, which has not been good. And it's not out of the realm of possibility where the Mariners can take 2 or 3.
I think DeGrom's not even playing, and then also you have
Yeah,
Bryce Miller and
DeGrom's
Logan
out.
Gilbert in that rotation too, so
Yeah,
there's a very advantageous opportunity.
correct.
And
They don't have Scherzer back yet, so
DeGrom's still
uh,
out.
yep, DeGrom's still out, and so they're missing their 2 horses right at the top of the rotation.
We're looking at a 2-2. Now here is going to be the 2-2 pitch, and that is a ball. And I remember when Max Scherzer was out for the season, I really thought that that could have been an advantage for the Mariners, but the Mariners imploded themselves anyway, where it didn't even matter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Here's the 3-2, and that is popped and fouled. And Jordan Hunter, who I talked to on Facebook quite a bit, pretty happy to see about the Rockies' high pitch count for today. Great news for tomorrow. Couldn't said it any better.
Yep.
Because now those guys are going to be a little bit tired. And don't forget, they're also in a bad start. Here's a 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down he goes. And Tyson Miller, the only bad pitch he really had in his entire season with the Mariners was that hanging slider we saw against the Cubs. And I think that was another Michael Busch oopsie home run.
Yeah, right now the only starter that the Rangers have that might give them any problem is Nathan Eovaldi, but Michael Lorenzen, Jared Gray, John Gray, Dane Dunning, Andrew Heaney, not exactly world beaters.
So it is an opportunity, and especially with the Mariners pitching on fire, it seems that the timing couldn't have been any better. Here's the 1-0.
Yep.
Now, if the Mariners lose to Colorado, like if they lose their next 2 games against Colorado, then what I'm gonna say is going to be a little bit different.
Well, even then, still, you still like the Mariners' chances in Texas, but it would be nice. It would be nice going into Texas winning, being on a 6-game winning streak.
6-game winning streak, or at least a 5-1 kind of thing. We're looking at a 1-2 by Tyson Miller, who has looked pretty good so far, with the exception of being 3-2, but got to strike out the pitch. And another swing and a miss, strike 3.
I don't
Tyson,
I don't like how you have no faith in Emerson Hancock. Like I can I can just see the even a
adrenaline feeling.
like
My
even the
adrenaline
5
shoots
and
up
1
when I talk about him.
I know.
Now he's going to want me to delete that picture. Maybe he saw my stuff and he saw maybe something about slipping about Emerson Hancock, and he was like, "Oh, screw that guy."
Yeah, I like Emerson. I do. I like
tall
Emerson.
dude. When I saw him, I was like, "Whoa, that mofo was tall." Braves, they won against the Rangers 5-2, so that's going to help quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now here is the pitch, and here's a liner right to Crawford. He didn't even have to move, and we're going to the top of the 9th inning, and this game couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah.
7-0 so far.
Not exactly the ideal conditions for a baseball game, in the low 30s, but I'll give him credit. 7 runs on 15 hits. You'll
Hancock,
take that.
I think he is around the 6'5". Yeah, he's a tall guy when I saw him.
He's a tall drink of water.
Emerson Hancock. Let's see how tall. He's 6'4", but he's tall. Still tall. 6'4" is tall in baseball. It could have been much better if they called the game after the 5th. Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong, but hey.
Right. Yeah, but it's like, if it was a situation where the snow was coming down so heavy where they couldn't see the baseball, they probably would have.
But it didn't come down heavy enough. And you know what? That means more pitches going against the Rockies.
Yep. Emerson Hancock.
Have to find the sweet spot in the cold if you want to save your hands. Well, I'm sure they have a nice hotel that will accommodate their hands.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll
be okay.
I'm
Just
sure
like
they're going to
earlier
be
when
fine.
we talked about Caitlin Clark and that contract, we're like, yeah, but she's signing an 8-figure deal
Yeah.
with Nike, and and
Well,
her social media is probably heavily monetized. So I think she's okay. She's
I think
just
she's okay. Well, the Mariners. I'm sure the Mariners have heaters in the dugout, and they got
heaters in the
the
dugout,
dugouts,
and they're probably warm right now because they have that feeling of winning.
but also, if it gets unbearable, I'm sure they can go to the clubhouse and warm up. It's not the end of the world.
Nice steaming shower.
Yeah, exactly. So the
And we are back from the break, and we saw a Todd Helton jersey.
the point is the Mariners are winning 7-0. So
And that is a strike. And that is now Mitch Garver, who's up to the bat.
Gava.
Garver's got to do some stuff. Here's the pitch. And that is fouled. And it seemed that the Mariners offense has taken their foot off the gas just a bit for the offense. I mean, unless Colorado can come up with a 7-run deficit victory, I don't know. Here's the 0-2. And that is outside for a ball.
I don't necessarily know if it's taking the foot off their gas or, Colorado's bullpen has just been a little bit better.
Just get to 27 and back at the hotel. Yep, that's what they're going to do. And there goes Garver. I think he was like, nah, who cares?
And there goes Garver.
I think he was like, I'm out. I don't care. I just want to, let's end this game.
Yeah, and that was, a little two-seam fastball running on the outside corner. And it's like, again, in a two-strike situation, anything near it, you swing.
Now here's Clase, who's had a fantastic game so far. And a swing and a miss. And yeah, with Canzone, when he does come back, I wonder, unless he repeats this game over and over again, he may be sent.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, what's your priority? Do you want to get Rayleigh going? Because if you do, you can't just keep him on your bench. You actually have to play him.
You don't want to keep him rotted. He's not Ruben Sierra.
So
that was the one guy who could play off the bench efficiently.
Sure. I just think that it makes a lot of sense to put him down in Tacoma. He plays every day, and you can get him back in the groove and call him back up if you want to give Clase an extended look. But I would probably assume that he's going to end up down in Tacoma. Clase,
yeah. And now here's Josh Rojas, and that is low for a ball. Manny Acta being shown at third base side, along with that Tacoma logo.
I think that I think that Canzone's doing well. I think he's on schedule to come back. I only think he went on the 10-day DL, so
wasn't much. Now here's the 1-1, and that is a ball, but he'll still got a lot of work to do. I mean, Canzone's still far from impressing me with the exception of his home runs. And like we agreed, when he hits that home run, it's a beautiful swing. And then when he strikes out, it's like, why?
Yeah, it looks like he's got a gargantuan hole in his swing. But I think that before he got hurt, he was starting to hit. He was starting to hit a little bit better.
3-1, and now here is the play to second base, and that will do it. And in 1-2-3 for Colorado, and it's something that they are probably happy about, at least for that moment.
They need 7 runs. They need 7 to tie, 8 to win here. So it's
hey, if you're in, now I want to look up the betting odds in the casino. If you bet on the Colorado Rockies to come back at this moment, I wonder if they have it or if it's closed.
I'll tell you what, man, if that happens and Colorado forces a comeback here, that the Mariner bullpen completely imploded. I don't know. I can't fathom a situation where the Mariners give up 7-8 runs here in a half inning.
You can't bet. It won't let you. But I would imagine that. So if it says plus 925 with San Diego being down 4-0, so maybe that'll be plus 1800. So let's say you put in $10, you'll win like $200 if.
Yeah, I would think that
put in your $10.
I would think that the odds would be somewhere around like plus 2,800.
Yeah, and then
plus
you put in
plus
$10, you're
5,000.
yeah. I mean, football, that's where the gambling hub really is. When someone's down like 21-0, that's when you put in that $10 right
Sure.
there as a hope that someone comes back.
Well, I'll say this: it's not impossible, but it definitely is improbable.
You
So
just never know.
it's
But with how
baseball.
good the Mariners bullpen really is,
I
it's
remember a game. I remember a game in 2001 when the Mariners were in Cleveland, and at one point they had an 11-1 lead
and lost.
and lost.
And some
I,
say the game that
I,
could have been their 117.
well, I mean, still, uh, that was that's the crazy thing about this sport is that strange things do happen, but we're in a situation where the Mariners have a bullpen that is not going to implode. But then again, Brett de Juice,
Brett the
uh,
Gus.
Brett de Gus is on the hill, and
He's
he's
mopping
a
up,
little iffy. He's a little iffy.
which is why they put him there. And
Hmm.
that is going to be a strike. Now, if it was a 97-98 bullpen, then there would be a chance.
I'll but these are the type of outings that if you're DeGus, that you want to have a 1-2-3 inning. These are the type of mop up duties where you want to impress your manager, to give him more opportunities and higher leverage situations. So you would probably assume that DeGus is going to go right after hitters here.
Jordan, yeah, you can hold me to that. Here comes Heathcliff. Oh, I wonder if you're ahead of me, Jordan. I hope it's not something bad. Now here's a ground ball, and to Polanco, the throw to first, and it's in time. Woo!
Good play by
Good play
Polanco.
by Polanco. Oh yes, Heathcliff Slocum. We know him and love him. He nearly blew Game 3 of the American League Division Series. Nearly ruined Jeff Facero's amazing start. Oh, the mid-90s joke.
So I remember when we traded for Heathcliff Slocum, and I liked initially when that happened. I actually was a fan of this
And
trade.
here's a fly ball, and that is going to go right into right field, and that is the
It's a
first
double.
extra base hit by the
Yep, it's a
Colorado
double.
Rockies.
Not what you want from
And
DeGus.
Gus, I think he's the one that might go down. Maybe he goes down.
Well, definitely when Brash comes back,
And Santos.
yeah, and Santos, I would probably assume that, yeah, I
think
that's
Tyson's staying.
well, that's the crazy thing, right? But then again, what happens when what's his ass comes off the DL? Why can't I think of his name right now?
Santos, Brash. Here's the 0-1.
The other two guys,
Colin Snyder and Cody
yeah.
Bolton.
Yeah, well, like when Bolton comes back, how is that going to work out?
Oh,
When
so
Wu
you and Jordan were excited about the Heathcliff Slocum trade at the time.
Yeah, I actually liked it. Heathcliff was a veteran closer.
Here's
very
a ground
good at,
ball and right to Ty France, and the Rockies are down to their final out, but that will move the runner to third base.
Yeah.
I would still like to see a shutout, though. I mean, 7-1, yeah, they still going to win if it's 7-1, but shutout still sounds a lot better.
Yeah, you want the shutout.
You don't want to give them any kind of moment of slight confidence going in the next game.
Yeah, you don't want them to score here. You want to preserve the shutout here and go into the first half of the doubleheader, firing on all cylinders.
And that is inside, and that nearly hit Diaz.
Yeah,
that is a 1-0 count.
Yeah, man, Slocum was a veteran closer. Had looked very good in Boston, and then he comes to Seattle and he couldn't find the strike zone.
Also, the timing of his life was pretty ill-timed because he lost his wife to cancer during that time.
Yeah,
so he was going through a lot of things.
Yep.
1-0. Oh, and that hit him, but at least you got a force out at second base. It looks like
Ooh.
Diaz is shaken up.
So he goes inside first, nearly hits him, and then comes right back and hits him. That's
In the hands, that's why it hurts.
yeah. And now all of a sudden, with 2 outs, DeGus is having some issues here.
Yeah, DeGus never really stood out for me from day one.
No, he's here to. This is what he's here to be a long guy, come in mop up duties. Yeah.
I've got Sleepy. The app I used to watch this game didn't work, but at least I know what's going on by watching Rooftops play by play. I'm glad I could provide value for you, Sleepy.
There you go, Sleepy. Way to kiss the host sass. I love it, Sleepy.
I love it. And they're still talking to Diaz and see if he's okay. And it looks like he is still going to play.
You got some
don't feel
fans,
the need
bud.
to pinch run. Yeah, let's get some more fans over here.
Here's Montero.
The funny thing is, Seattle fans are like 4th highest in my analytics. New York and Houston are my top 2.
That's actually pretty cool. I know you. I didn't you say you got some folks from Venezuela?
Yeah, I had someone from Venezuela and Korea because I'm Korean and they love Korean American English speakers. 1-0, and that's a 1-1. It's how they learn English, from what I heard. They go on YouTube and look for people.
I actually had a high school friend that went to Korea and taught English over there.
That's what they all do. And I heard that the teaching there is a bit more lucrative than teaching in America, from what I heard.
Yeah, they pay good money for Americans to come over there and teach them how to speak English. And I heard that Seoul in South Korea is a very cool city.
It's the place to go, from what I heard.
Yeah,
I haven't gone to Seoul since '98, so I guarantee when I go there, I'll be in there for a shell shock.
Yeah, I can't say that I've ever been to Seoul.
I only know a few that's gone there, but when they go, I always hear the positive comments. And we're looking at a 2-2, and just realized that they're on their final strike. So hopefully DeGus does put these guys away.
And DeGus is trying to induce a swing and a miss, but he is struggling with that slider.
Maybe don't do that when it's a 2-2 count.
Yeah, you don't want to walk.
You don't want to walk because you don't want the bases loaded to give Colorado any kind of momentum. Yeah, I know. Jordan, it's a great game, but it ain't over yet till it's over. And it's spoiled. Here's the 3-2. And now here's a fly ball to deep right field. And Rayleigh is there. He makes the catch. And the ball game is over. The Mariners take game 1 of this 3-game series on an impressive 7-0 victory, especially with Luis Castillo's impressive outing and some of the offense. And let me take a 30-second break, and we will go into the post-game show. And I got to go to the bathroom. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. And while Rooftop is taking a leak, so solid wins tonight, man. And there was a lot of things that were playing against the Mariners from the start of this game. Getting the extra day off because of the snow out, and now you're dealing with 30-degree weather, and you saw it a little bit in the top of the first inning with the tentative at bats. But I'll tell you what, the Mariners came back and put some impressive at bats together. Had 3 innings of with putting up 1 run, built a nice little 3-0 lead, and then bam, the 4-run 5th inning right there, which was equally as impressive. And I got to say, man, when you couple the offense with Luis Castillo's start tonight, for him, you can say it's Colorado all you want, but I'll tell you what, man, those were not ideal pitching conditions. and he goes out there and basically fires a 2-hitter through 7,
He
9
really
Ks.
does, yeah.
Yeah, 9 Ks, 1 walk, and that is the quintessential Luis Castillo start that we've been waiting for all season. And he does it in a park that's not conducive to those type of outings. So big ups to Luis Castillo, big ups to the Mariner offense tonight. And I got to say, that was probably the most convincing win of the season.
Yeah. And actually, let's start the post game show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the Mariners, they just absolutely dominated the Colorado Rockies 7-0 on these cold conditions, considering that the game was canceled yesterday due to the snow. And there was even a possibility that the game wasn't even going to happen today. But shout out to that grounds crew. They gave us a baseball game, and good thing they did because the Mariners took full advantage of it.
Yep.
And with a 7-0 victory, now Luis Castillo with an amazing pitching effort, 7 innings, only 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts and 96 pitches. Then Tyson Miller did very well with 2 strikeouts, and at least Gus, he didn't give up a run, but he nearly loaded the bases. But aside from that, let's take a look at the scoring summary. Cal Raleigh with that quick home run to left, and that happened. And if you blinked an eye from that swing, it was gone. And then Cal Raleigh singled where Julio Rodriguez scored, and then Julio scored Josh Rojas in the 4th inning. And then Clase, this was where the highlight really was when it was actually considered a single, and all 3 runners scored, and they tried to get him home, but unfortunately he was out. But I really did like the effort by Clase. And when you're up that, and if you're up that much and your pitching is holding it down, why not do that? And then Julio with another RBI singled the center, and Rojas scored. And before we even go deeper into this, let's take a look at that box score. Crawford went 1 for 5. Yeah, at least he got a hit. Julio 4 for 5. That's the Julio we were looking for. Polanco 0 for 3. Ouch. Mitch Haniger 0 for 4. Ouch. Luke Raley, well, he came in when the game was already late. But Cal Raleigh, I think it's the hitter of the game. He hit 2 RBIs and a homer, 4 for 4. Ty France 2 for 5. Mitch Garver 1 for 3. Clase 2 for 5. He actually contributed very well, 2 RBIs, as they only credit him 2 RBIs. And Josh Rojas 1 for 4, but he scored 2 runs, so he got on base at least.
Absolutely, and when I take a look at this box score, I see the top of the order. JP 1 for 5, but Julio 4 for 5 tonight. And that was just an absolute solid performance. But it's the bottom of the order, starting with Cal Raleigh. Cal had just a brilliant game today. Ty France 2 for 4. Garver 1 for 2 today. Clase 2 for 4. Rojas 1 for 3. And that's we were talking about this at the top of the order, at the top of the show tonight. Was what the Mariners needed, was that continuation, moving the line on down. And the bottom of the order certainly did that today. It would have been nice to see Polanco and Haniger do something today, but that's okay. When your offense generates 7 runs on 15 hits, you can overlook a few things, but I was impressed. I mean, it's nice to see that. The lineup turns over quickly. But I think as great as it was to see the offense put up 7, I think to me the player of the game has to be Luis Castillo. It really does. We were talking about baseball conditions. A lot of things were playing against Castillo coming into this one, especially with the weather being 30, 32 degrees, somewhere in that area. Being in a park that's not conducive to these pitching performances. And he goes out there and just throws a gem, 7 innings of 2-hit baseball. That I guess, that's where the game starts and where the game ends, as far as I'm concerned. Great performance.
Oh yeah. And considering that he was struggling to the start of the season, and at least he had a good outing last time, which unfortunately resulted in a loss, but it finally did happen after there were some concerns, but he finally figured it out this time. And good to see the Mariners win, because on top of that, pretty much all of the division within the Mariners lost. Got the Angels that lost, Astros lost in a very choking fashion, And then Oakland also lost, and
Uh,
Texas lost.
and Texas
So
lost. So right now the Mariners are tied for first place, and on top of that, I mean, now they've won 4 in a row. So they got the, I hate using this term again, but I guess they got the good vibes going. But this is considering the start that the Mariners had to the season, it's nice to see. It's nice to see an extended winning streak, because this is exactly what this team absolutely needed. Coming off a series where they probably should have won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. And especially in games 2 and game 3, they let the Cubs off the hook. And to turn around and sweep the Reds and then start this series off with a convincing win, this is exactly what the doctor ordered.
yeah, exactly. And it'll be really good to go into the final game. And it looks like the odds are in the Mariners' favor, where they could
Yep.
possibly end this series leading the division, with
Yep.
Texas still struggling in Atlanta and struggling in general. You got George Kirby up, and you would think that against Colorado and against Quantrill, who is 0-2 with a 5.57, you would think that this is also the time for George Kirby to finally get it right this time, as he has struggled at the start of this season. And then the final game of that doubleheader will be at 5:10 in specific daylight time. Got Emerson Hancock going against Lambert, who could maybe give the problems. He is 2-0 with a 2.31. So hopefully Hancock can actually pitch well, which he has. He's actually not pitched terrible throughout this season. It's just that Brewers game that was pretty much the anomaly. Other than that, he's been pitching rock solid.
Yeah, he's been solid. I guess the litmus test was his last start, because he was coming off that Brewers start, and there was a lot of talk about whether or not the Mariners should send him down. He came out and he shut up a lot of doubters. That's what I like to see with a young player like Hancock, who is not getting a lot of love, to come out there and pitch the way he did. And now he has another opportunity tomorrow in the nightcap of the doubleheader. To me, this looks like it has the makings of a sweep written all over it. Let's just call it what it is. The Rockies are not a good team. We saw what happened with Luis Castillo in his 3 starts prior. Good teams, even middle of the road teams, can take advantage of Castillo, especially when he's not locating. And we've seen that. And even tonight, there were a few opportunities where, potentially Colorado could have got back into the ball game, but they couldn't get anything going off Castillo, which lets you know that they're not that type of team. And so now you have Kirby going in the early portion of the day, and Kirby's coming off a pretty decent start. So if the Mariners can continue offensively, even if they score 4 runs, it's still good enough for a win. And then of course Hancock in the night. So I just think that this is a good opportunity to get out of Colorado tomorrow with a sweep. Take the day off on Monday and prepare yourself as best as you can against the Rangers on Tuesday. I expect I expect the Mariners to sweep the doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah, I would agree, and that's what we all want. Like, I would not want to settle for anything less than that. And I know that I've said it before, and you have countered it, and I'll give you that opportunity again. But sweeping the Colorado Rockies would make me feel that we are making up for the losses of the Chicago series and the Milwaukee Brewers series. So that would also be really nice. And that way, we'll practically be at break even if we get to that point. If we sweep the Colorado Rockies going into Texas, who are also off to a not a great start, and they don't even have any of their star pitchers in DeGrom and Max Scherzer. So the opportunity is there. And then you'll definitely want to go back into Seattle, where they'll be hosting the Diamondbacks and Jared Kelenic and the Braves.
Well, this is what, like, if the Mariners fancy themselves as a playoff team, these are the type of series where you have to, like, you have to sweep them. It's like 2 out of 3 is great, but these are the type of series where you take advantage of. When you think about the teams that the Mariners have played so far, Boston probably is going to finish around 500, but Milwaukee is a playoff team. The Indians are a playoff. Excuse me, the Guardians are a playoff team. And
Chicago is going to at least fight for it.
Chicago is going to at least fight for it. So Toronto is also going to be in the mix for the wild card this year. So, the early portion of the schedule, we're against teams that are going to be well over 500 or better in playoff contention. And it just so happens that the Mariners just really aren't a fast starting team. But here we are now, a couple weeks into the season, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see things go the right way. And so there's going to be portions of the schedule where you're going to get the Rockies, you're going to get the A's, you're going to get the Royals, and these are what playoff teams use to take advantage of these portions of the schedule. And so for the Mariners, it's essential that they finish this thing off correctly. There's no excuses for the reasons why they can't. And say what you will, it is these are the series that matter the most. Yes, obviously you want to play tough against the the heavies of the division, or the top teams in other divisions. Of course you do. You want to see them show up and put up a good fight. But when you're playing against teams that for a fact that you're better, for a fact, there's no ifs, ands, or for a fact you're better. There is no excuses. There is no excuse for why you can't sweep.
Yeah, and I remember I was reading Twitter, and there were some fans concerned about this whole weather thing, going, "Man, could this really just ruin the Mariners' momentum?" And all I said was, Mariners got to figure it out either way, whether it's cold weather, whether it's hot weather, whether it's days off or there's no days off. Still got to figure it out, because the other team figures it out, I guess.
Sure.
Because there's a 50% chance one team figures it out of the two.
The only thing I was worried about was injury, because cold weather, especially pitching wise, could tend to lead to something that could have a lasting effect, and especially maybe on guys like Garver and Haniger, who have had some injury issues. But tonight there was no problem, so I guess the Mariners figured it out.
They really did. And well, that's going to be it for the post-game portion of the show, as it was definitely more than 10 minutes, but it was definitely fun doing it. And for tomorrow, and I just want to also say, although the attendance wasn't spectacular, I did go under 100, but I still got the comments in there, still got some engagement, so I definitely appreciate it from the fans. Definitely appreciate you guys being here, being part of this growth of a casual play-by-play by a couple of dudes on YouTube, rather than Goldsmith or Sims. No hard feelings, but we like an opportunity. But that is going to be it. Looks like everyone is kind of signing off at this point. I got to cut a video on this and all those shorts that I do. And everyone have a great night, and go Mariners, and let's go for that sweep.
Have a good night, guys.